You said something about Fridays. Earlier in the week, we were talking about 4-day, 5-day work week. You said that Fridays to you are like your summer.
Yeah.
It's like that is the closest thing to that summer feeling.
It is. Listen, we talked about it before. That's why I said if we had half days on Fridays, that would be perfect. It really would be. Fridays, once 5 o'clock comes around, we'll be good to go. KBN Nation right now knows it's 2 o'clock on a Friday. They're going to get Brad. They're going to get Kyle. They're going to get Ben next week again. But they know that they're going to have a great 3-hour ride into the weekend with us, and they're going to have a great weekend ahead of them as well. So that's why I love Fridays.
And this isn't just any Friday. This is Groundhog Day, right? I mean, that makes for an extra special Friday, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It does.
Are you not a Groundhog Day guy?
So here's the thing. I never really understood the whole Groundhog Day thing. It was too confusing. It really was. I was trying to figure out why. Because I'm the kid that always asks why, right? I'm like, wait a minute. Make this make sense. Why am I taking time out of school as a student to focus on some dang groundhog, some animal? Why does the groundhog determine whether it's spring or not? Why does the shadow matter? I was just so confused on the specification of Groundhog's Day and us using the groundhog to determine if my spring is going to come late or my spring is going to come early. I don't even know if he sees his shadow, does it mean spring's early or does it mean 6 more weeks of winter? I don't even know. I still to this day do not know.
I actually don't either. I remember as a kid, a groundhog's not going to know whether it's going to be spring early or spring late, but I remember as a kid just being so ready for spring to arrive and ready for warm weather, and I still am now. But when I saw most times I feel like the groundhog doesn't see his shadow or whatever it takes in order for spring to come early. And I would hear it, and 6 more weeks of winter? And I was like, oh no, 6 more weeks of winter. I'm ready for that spring. But I'm wondering today, as I'm thinking about it, how do the people even know what the groundhog sees, right? Because he can't articulate. He can't hit a button. I mean, who is in charge of determining as to whether the shadow is seen or not?
Brad, you are right now speaking my language. We may not speak groundhog, but dang it, we both speak English, and you are speaking the English that I speak. I don't know. These are the same questions. And as we go on this as well, is that I'm a big proponent of anything Milwaukee. I love Milwaukee Bucks. I love Milwaukee Brewers. I love Milwaukee breweries. I love Milwaukee food. I love Milwaukee Museum. I love the Betty Brim Museum. I love the Milwaukee County Zoo. But today, Brad, today is Groundhog's Day. And when I woke up today and I read an article and I found out that for Groundhog's Day, the Milwaukee County Zoo, who I love and enjoy, they didn't have any groundhogs, so they used a different animal. Do you know what they used today in order to determine whether or not we're going to have 6 more weeks of spring?
What did they use?
They used the dang penguins. They used penguins.
Did they march them out there and be like, okay, penguins, what do you see?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
How does the ceremony work?
I don't know, but I think it is an absolute travesty. So here's the backstory. So the Milwaukee County Museum, the groundhog that they used last year, who they've been using since 2019, the groundhog died a month after, he did his duty. I guess the one job that he had. After he did his duty, he died. He even died. He didn't even live long enough to see whether or not the prediction that he made of 6 more weeks of winter, he didn't even live long enough to see that.
That's criminal.
So the groundhog has been dead for over a year now. And the zoo hasn't replaced the groundhog, so now we're using penguins?
I've got a lot of questions. Are groundhogs in that short of supply that a zoo can't get one to replace your groundhog?
I'm sure in many great places in backwoods in this great state of Wisconsin, they could have found some wild groundhog and used him for today for a prop. But instead, they didn't. They used penguins today at the Milwaukee County Zoo, and I'm outraged, and I know a lot of other people should be outraged as well.
Well, wait a minute. Outraged? That seems like a little bit extreme, right? What do you got against penguins?
It's nothing against penguins. I love penguins. I love penguins so much, and you know where my love from penguins come from? I was a big hockey fan when I was a kid. Not anymore.
Pittsburgh Penguins?
I love Mario Lemieux, Jaromir Jagr, so I became a Penguins fan, and I love penguins, so you put it all together and made me want to go to Antarctica. But I'm not in Antarctica. I'm in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and today is Groundhog's Day. It's not Penguin Hog's Day. It's not Penguins See Their Shadow Day. It is Groundhog's Day. They are stealing the attention away from groundhogs.
But the groundhog, look, if you don't have one, why not get creative? If anything, it changes it up. I like this idea of using a different animal for Groundhog's Day.
What?
Let's keep changing it every year. I would say next year let's do the elephant.
So don't
year for that. Let's do a tiger.
No,
why not?
So what? Wait a minute. So why don't
that could be Milwaukee Zoo's thing? It's Groundhog's Day, but we don't just focus on groundhogs. It's all the animals. They deserve their say.
Why? Why can't we just keep things the way they're supposed to be? Why do we have to change things? Groundhogs literally have one day of the year that they actually have the attention, that people actually love them and care about them. Of course, was it Phil from Pentucket? Where is it?
Punxsutawney Phil.
Pennsylvania. Punxsutawney Phil in Pennsylvania. We don't care about Punxsutawney Phil in Pennsylvania except for on this day. This day, because this is Groundhog's Day. This is Punxsutawney Tony's day. This is his opportunity. They've been doing that for years, a tradition. That's the only time you care about groundhogs. It's called Groundhog's Day. Why not just find a groundhog? I'm sure they're not an endangered species here in Wisconsin or America.
If they marched out a different large rodent and called it a groundhog, would you be able to tell the difference?
So we talked about this before. I can't enunciate it. I think it's called a capra. There's an animal that looks like a groundhog. I wouldn't know the difference. I would not. Now the other media would know the difference as well. But this is how I know that the Milwaukee Public Zoo was trying to pull a fast one on people. It's because today it wasn't even to the public to see the penguins. They only allowed media to go there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So they didn't want it to get out like that, I'm sure, of the fact that they're cheating us out of having a groundhog telling us whether or not we're going to have 6 more weeks of spring.
I feel like they should have leaned into it. Just make a big deal out of it. I think this would be a groundbreaking moment for Groundhog's Day. Open it up to all animals. Why not?
See, you're the problem with America. You're trying to put people out of work. You're like AI. You're like technology. You're like machinery, all right? They said, back in the day when they had the assembly line of people putting cars together, and then all of a sudden they had, the machines come in. They said, oh, well, let's just let one machine come in. You'll have to manage the machine. And more machines came, and people were out of work. And now you're just trying to put groundhogs out of work on the day that matters to them.
They'll always be the preferred choice, but in the event you don't have a groundhog, why can't everybody? Why can't the Wallace and the Nortman household celebrate Groundhog's Day and use a dog if you got it, or use a cat, or use a turtle?
So I'm just
this could sweep the nation of individual Groundhog Day parties.
Yeah, okay. So you're putting groundhogs out of work.
This time next year, we could be throwing parties, the Groundhog Day parties, and you just get an animal, whatever animal you want, and then you just start to there's like a reveal moment, and then you all decide, what did he do? Did they see the shadow? Did they not? So that would be sweeping the nation. Your own personal groundhog party.
If the NFL took out punters because they felt doing punts were unsafe, and they got rid of punters, and they changed it to something else, and they got rid of your job, would you be okay with that?
No, I wouldn't.
Okay, and I'm not okay with groundhogs losing their job as well. Okay,
but groundhogs would always be the preferred choice. Like if you and I could get a groundhog for our party, we would get them. Maybe it would help the groundhog population.
Okay, now I don't even know what's going on with the groundhog population, because obviously here in Wisconsin we have some type of issue because the zoo can't find a groundhog.
Yeah, well, either way, I feel like I'm proud of the Milwaukee County Zoo for just breaking through the traditional mold. Like they don't rely only on tradition to be able to make their decisions. And look, they're making headlines. That's a good thing for the zoo.
Yeah, I guess. I disagree.
You've seen the Groundhog Day movie,
so
right?
I have not seen the Groundhog Day movie.
You haven't seen Groundhog Day.
So what is Groundhog Day movie? Is it about groundhogs or Groundhog Day?
A groundhog is in it. So it's a movie with Bill Murray made in the 80s, and basically he's
1993.
1993?
Yeah, 93 it came out.
Wow, I thought that was the 80s for sure. That's crazy, man. Times have changed a lot. Because when I hear the 90s, I think like that was just yesterday, but that movie feels older than that. Anyway, 1993.
That was 30 years ago.
I guess that is a long time. Man, that's aging us.
In 1993, 1963 was 30 years ago. I just want you to understand that.
Yeah, so thank you, Kyle. I appreciate that. So in this movie, Bill Murray is like a news anchor, right? And he is going to Punxsutawney to report on the Groundhog's Day, right?
Punxsutawney Tony?
No, Punxsutawney Phil is the name,
Phil.
not Tony.
Oh, I thought it was
Punxsutawney. We're just trying to help you get the name
Phil.
right.
Thank you.
So Punxsutawney Phil. But he's like kind of a grump, and he's just sort of not into it. He's kind of a jerk to everybody. And somehow he goes to bed that night on Groundhog's Day. He wakes up the next morning, and he's back in the same exact location, waking up to the same alarm clock song at the same time, and he like relives the same day over and over and over.
Oh, wow. This is really original plot here.
Well, it's 1993. I mean, maybe this was groundbreaking at the time. So he keeps on reliving the same day over and over. And it doesn't matter how the day ends. It doesn't matter if he passes away during the day. It doesn't matter if he goes, to sleep in jail. He always wakes up in the same moment, keeps reliving it. I will spoil the ending for you.
Because
are you going to watch it?
No, it's 30 years too late. If you don't know the ending by now, it's on you.
Basically, he starts using it. He starts like doing whatever he wants, and he's just kind of going out of control. It's when he starts to pivot and starts to like help people and love on people and starts to be a good citizen and a good man. That's when, bam, it breaks through, and there's like a love interest. That's when it breaks through, and there's no longer the time loop is ended, and his life is better off for it. So it's kind of a nice ending. But it sounds
pretty basic. It's this has all this nostalgia for a basic movie.
It's a feel-good movie, Kyle.
Yeah, okay.
Like a feel-good movie every once in a while.
Seems like every movie out there.
But that's where the phrase comes from. Like, if you're doing the same thing over and over, you're like, oh, yep, it's Groundhog's Day. We're living the same thing over and over. It got me thinking, what are the sports moments that you would either like to relive? Like, if you could just wake up the next morning and relive it, wake up the next morning and relive it, where you're like, you know what? That's a day that I would sign up for. That is an event that I could sign up for to relive over and over. And on the bad side, what's an event that you would hate to relive over and over? That would become a nightmare, similar as to the movie. So anything comes to mind for you, Kyle?
Well, so for me, an 800-990-3776, that's the ESPN Wisconsin talking text line. And Groundhog's Day, I guess, as Brad has educated me on, Groundhog's Day is reliving something over and over and over. And so you want to know what I would relive over and over and over. And the one thing I would is because I didn't know when the day would come. I was hoping one day it would come, but I did not know when that day would be. And that is the 2021 Milwaukee Bucks NBA championship. That day, that game, and add in the parade
Game
as well.
6.
I would live that over and over and over and over. Everything about it. Being able to go to the playoffs, being able to go with my brother to that game. And, it's so nostalgic because me and my brother went to the 2001 Game 6 NBA Eastern Conference Finals when the Bucks played against the 76ers and won. And then being able to, 20 years later, go to Game 6 of the NBA Finals with my brother in the game as well. Like, that was just a perfect moment for me and my brother. So to be able to relive that over and over and over and seeing Giannis win that championship, the guy next to me crying, that will be a perfect moment. So I would love to have the Groundhog Day of me living my favorite Wisconsin sports moment, the Milwaukee Bucks finally winning an NBA title after 50 years.
That's a good one. That's a really good one. There's 2 days that I think of, both Packer related, both the Super Bowls in my lifetime.
Okay.
And I'm trying to figure out which one I want to go with more. Either one I would love to relive, but I'm going to go with the Aaron Rodgers Super Bowl in 2010, the 2010 season, 2011.
Oh, why is that?
Here's why. I was in college at University of Wisconsin, right? It's the off season, it's spring semester, and I just remember that playoff run. It was sort of like the peak of my Packer fanhood before I went to the NFL, and some of that started to drop off because you have to view it as, the Packers are now the enemy and whatever else, playing on different teams. But I just remember going through that, being a Packer fan. We lived in apartments on Park Street in Madison, and we had a Packer party for the Super Bowl. And I just remember like all of our friends showing up. We're watching the game. We're taking drinks. And if carbless was around at the time, I was just taking plenty of carbless drinks here and there. And we had a grand old time watching that game. After the Packers won, a bunch of us went out after, and we were just like went into bars. Madison, man, it was cold that night, but Madison was alive. I mean, the bars were packed. The streets were packed. There were house parties. There were Packer flags flagging throughout the streets. State Street was a madhouse. Anywhere you went, whether it be a bar, whether it be walking down the street, if you could get the whole place going with just starting a "Go Pack Go," Go Pack Go, and the whole place would erupt. So I just remember that day from living in Madison, having a college a Super Bowl party in college. Go Pack Go! And then celebrating it, and then going out and celebrating with the whole city of Madison.
Yeah,
it was just a fun time. Like I could relive that.
That was. What was so great about that Super Bowl? As we're reliving the great sports moments that we would love to relive over and over. And this is based off the movie Groundhog. I've never seen. I guess Bill Murray's in it. I've seen him in Space Jam, and that's about it.
Add it to the KBN movie list.
Yeah, it's growing every single day. But what sports moment would you want to relive over and over and over? And I'm glad you went with that one. You know why?
Why?
Because as a kid in 1997, when we saw that Super Bowl, watched that Super Bowl game, we were so young. You didn't know. You didn't realize that this wasn't something that was going to happen over and over and over again. So that Super Bowl in 97 was great. But the one in 2010, that was amazing because it felt like forever since the Packers had won a Super Bowl. It just felt like it took years and years and years and years, and finally we were able to break through. So for me, that one was more memorable as well than that 97 one.
Well, and I'll also say this, too. There was just always confusion, similar to what we're experiencing with Jordan Love now. There was uncertainty as to whether, Aaron Rodgers had shown glimpses of being really, really good. But when you live throughout Favre's entire career of being a Hall of Fame quarterback, and by the time Favre retired, this is like pre-Brady peak, pre-Manning peak, all these things. Brett Favre could have arguably been on, a top 5 quarterback of all time at that point. So when you look at him winning one Super Bowl during 15 years of greatness, you just realize how rare Super Bowl victories are. And you realize, man, we had it really, really good with having an elite, multiple MVP quarterback. And when he went to the Jets, there was that concern of, man, is the next guy going to be that? And Aaron Rodgers certainly was. And that Super Bowl was a stamp of the future of the Green Bay Packers is in good hands. And with the same feelings recently with Jordan Love. And we can say now, the future of the Green Bay Packers still in good hands.
800-990-3776. That is the ESPN Wisconsin Talking Text line here on KBN with my boy Brad Norman, longtime NFL punter, and myself, Kyle Wallace. And in honor of Groundhog's Day, what is the one Wisconsin sports memory you will want to relive over and over and over again? And also, Brad, I want to find out this one too from you in KBN Nation. What is the one sports memory that you never wish you had to witness, that ever existed, that you ever saw, that's down in the record books? And for me, the one I wish never happened was the 2007-2008 NFC Championship game, Packers taking on the New York Giants in Lambeau Field. That was just seeing Brett Favre look like an old man, freezing cold out there, threw an interception that basically ended the game. Our offense struggled all night. It was awful. I remember as a kid, I was 17. I was 17 at the time, and I was sitting there at my parents' house in my bedroom on the floor watching the game, just watching the whole game. And when the game ended, I just remember just not even leaving my room, just being sad and all upset, and then having to go to school the next day, sad and upset, not knowing what the future held for the Green Bay Packers, not knowing what the future held for Brett Favre, hoping that, Brett Favre was going to for sure come back. He'll be back. That was just a sad day, and it made it even worse when Brett Favre decided to retire, and then it made it even worse when he decided to come back, and then he decided to go play for the Jets.
That's a really good choice.
Yeah,
it's a really good choice.
It still pains me now, 25 years later. My goodness.
Yeah, and I go back even further from that one.
I went 25 years later, 15 years later, something like that.
I go back to Super Bowl 32 when the Packers played the Broncos. And honestly, too, I looked at the world through naive kid eyes, thinking the year before, some of my earliest memories was the Packers just being great, always knocking on the door to the Super Bowl. Then they won the Super Bowl. And I'm thinking, this is great. Life is amazing. I'm a young kid. This is what I do. I'm a Packer fan. I'm a Badger football fan. And darn it, what do? They go to the big games and they win them. And so going to that game, I remember watching it so distinctly. Some of those plays in my young brain were just being crushed after crushed. I legitimately cried that night. I was like, the Packers lost the Super Bowl. It was so sad. I would do everything I could do to not relive that.
I'm shocked you made it to the NFL crying over the Packers.
I was like,
kid. We got so much to think about as a kid. I was upset, but I wasn't crying.
You didn't cry over that Super Bowl?
No, I had disdain for
John.
John.
Packer fan?
No, I just don't like John Elway to this day.
Yeah,
Forget John Elway, Rod Smith, Terrell Owens, and what's the dude that looked like I'm sure he doesn't do steroids, but he looks like Brian Romanowski.
Oh yeah. Bill Romanowski.
Bill Romanowski. Yeah. He looks psycho. 800-990-3776. We're talking about Groundhog's Day, and we're talking about you. What is the one sports memory you would love to live over and over and over again? And what is that one sports memory you wish never occurred? 800-990-3776. That's the ESPN Wisconsin Talking Text line. And he's Brad. I'm Kyle. This is KBN, and we have more coming next.
That's right, woodchuck chuckers. It's Groundhog Day!
Badger football fans, Brad Nortman here, inviting you to the Big Red Rally, an evening full of fun, football, and food, hosted at the Italian Community Center in downtown Milwaukee on February 8th. Meet the Badgers' newest recruits and hear directly from head coach Luke Fickell. Tickets to the Big Red Rally can be purchased individually or in tables of 10, with special discounts for UW-Madison grads. Jump around downtown Milwaukee to the Big Red Rally on February 8th and be part of the tradition. Visit uwalumni.com/events for more information. I will see you there.
Hey, it's Kyle Wallace for Universal Windows Direct. If you've been cold in your own home, do not suffer through one more winter in a cold and drafty home. Call my guys at Universal Windows Direct. Super Spacer technology helps keep the edge of the glass warmer, holds the window sill longer, and makes the window last up to 5 times longer than other window systems. Schedule your free in-home estimate today, and for every 2 windows you buy, you get the next 2 free. Plus, a free upgrade to triple pane glass. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
Hey, this is Jason Wilde from Wilde & Tausch. Valentine's Day is almost here, and Racine Danish Kringles has you covered with their heart-shaped Kringle. You know my family loves Kringle from Racine Danish Kringles, and sometimes they share it with me. Racine Danish Kringles offers a heart-shaped Kringle with pink icing in raspberry, chocolate silk, cherry, and pecan flavors to send to your loved one. Order at Kringle.com or call 800-4DANISH. Racine Danish Kringles, the official pastry of ESPN Wisconsin. It's not just a treat, it's a tradition.
Hi, this is John Neal, CPA, founder of Right Choice Tax Resolution and best-selling author on how to have less stress with the IRS. It's 2024 and an election year. The politicians are out there promising things they won't deliver. One thing is certain. Taxes are what pays for those promises. The IRS collects those taxes, and man, can they be brutal. My latest book has advice on what to do to avoid trouble with the IRS. We help you file back tax returns, get liens released, set up payment plans, represent you in audits, and get penalties reduced or eliminated. Some recent clients we helped include getting a $40,000 tax bill reduced by $32,000, filing a 2020 tax return to get a $7,000 refund, and negotiating a payment plan for $250 a month on a $30,000 tax bill. Make the right choice. Go to rightchoicetax.us to book a call or in-person meeting right now. We know you want to take the first step in getting the IRS off your back so you can live again. That's rightchoicetax.us.
Protect your dream home with American Family Insurance. And you can weather any storm. You'll also save up to 25% by bundling home, auto, and life. American Family Insurance. Get a quote. Find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Discounts may not apply to all coverages on an auto or home policy. Discounts do not apply to life insurance policies. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, American Family Life Insurance Company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Gabe Neitzel from Jen, Gabe, and Chewy here. Don't let the chilly weather end your golf season. X Golf and American Family Field is open all year round. They've got innovative and accurate golf simulators, all overlooking left field at AmFam Field. Enjoy daily lunch specials or have an outing with your friends and take in X Golf's full bar and food menus. X Golf AmFam Field is even offering golf lessons by a PGA Pro. Everyone is welcome at X Golf AmFam. Book your sim today. XGolfAmFamField.com. I'll see you out there.
Ever wonder how the best athletes find the power to jump higher, cut quicker, skate smoother, drive farther, and stick the landing? At Prevea Orthopedics in Green Bay, we know power starts with the hips. That's why Dr. Michael Ryan and our team of experts provide comprehensive and advanced expertise in hip care, unlike anywhere else. Come to Prevea Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, where we can preserve your hips so you can pursue your goals. Prevea Orthopedics, specializing in you.
This is Kyle Bruston Nortman, KBN, on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
I guess happy Groundhog's Day from KBN Nation, because that's what my boy Brad said on YouTube. And you can watch and interact with Brad and I on YouTube by going to ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube or ESPN Madison on YouTube and watch and stream us live. And also hit us up in our group chat. We'll definitely interact and talk about Groundhog's Day and also talk about what is the Wisconsin sports memory you would love to live over and over and over again, but also what is the one Wisconsin sports memory you wish never occurred? 800-990-3776. Brad, you said your good one was what? You want to live over and over?
That was the 2010-2011 Super Bowl led by Aaron Rodgers. I was in Madison, Wisconsin. We hosted a Super Bowl party at our apartment. When they won, we all went out and celebrated on the streets of Madison. There were Packer flags everywhere.
I want to see a party in Brad. Because I feel like Brad...
Go, Pack, go!
I feel like a party in Brad kind of, after he graduated from college and went to the NFL, he became a professional.
Yeah, I buttoned it up a little bit, but he still lives in there
All right,
sometimes.
now
I'll grab a carb list and I'll have a little fun.
Yeah, we're going to grab a couple carbuses and have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That's what we're definitely going to do.
I want to see partying Kyle. Now that is the partying that I want to see.
It don't take much nowadays. I'm a lightweight now.
Are you?
So you give me about 2 carbuses and I'll probably be like, ooh, I'm feeling a little woozy, feeling handsy.
That's a good medium though, right? You have a couple of them, you just feel a little loosey-goosey.
Yeah, loose as a goose, don't get me started.
Loose as a groundhog?
Yeah, loose as a groundhog, absolutely. 800-990-3776, that's the ESPN Wisconsin talking text line. Definitely hit us up and let us know in our group chat here who and what was your Wisconsin memory you want to live over and over again. Mine was the Bucks winning the championship in 2011, but Steven, he said his big one is Miracle on Ice.
Well, not a Wisconsin sports memory specifically, but that's a great one.
I mean, it is a great one. I wish I was around for it because I'm sure I would have been more excited than what I am. I mean, it's like a story, but we weren't like in existence when it happened.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I know it mostly just from the Al Michaels call of it, in the grainy footage of them winning.
Do you believe in miracles?
What a great line.
Yes.
Al Michaels, iconic.
Yeah.
Any other good ones?
And then they said for their down, like everybody's down probably. It's Seattle versus Green Bay playoff game. I believe that was in 2014, 2015 season in that NFC Championship game. Evan, shout out to Evan. He said the Bucks winning the championship in the parade. He would love to live that over and over and over again. And he said there's a tie. There is a tie for worst sports memory, and I feel a trend that's going here for worst sports memories. They all tend to be around this team, and it's Super Bowl 32 in the NFC Championship game with the Green Bay Packers, where they blew a 16-0 lead. Billy and Sussex, same thing. He said, listen, I don't have any good sports memories. I just want to focus on the 2014-15 NFC Championship game where the Packers blew that lead as well.
It seems like Wisconsin sports in general lives its own sort of Groundhog's Day, right? Where it seems like generally good to very good, make the playoffs, maybe even great expectations, but how many times we have to relive the heartbreak of going to the playoffs and losing, right? Not even getting to the big game. The Bucks did break that recently, but between the Packers,
yeah, but then we went right back to the cycle.
That's true. The Bucks, even like Badger football, every time we're knocking on the door of national contender, like not just Rose Bowl, but like national contender, it's just a heartbreaking loss. So it's just Wisconsin sports has its own version of Groundhog Day,
and I live it every day. So it is not a dream. It is not a movie. It is my life. This is exactly who I am. So the times where we get to win a championship in 2021 or in 2010, those are the ones that I cherish the most. And somebody, Big Daddy Bobo, he said the one memory he doesn't want to ever relive again for Groundhog's Day, the Bucks drafting Jabari Parker. He would not want to live that one over and over again. That is one that is very, very specific, and I like Jabari Parker despite kind of how his career went.
Yeah, I mean that feels like the NBA draft to me in general, which is why I'm drafting Giannis. I'm not gonna lie. When we drafted Jabari Parker, I was like, let's go.
I was excited.
Amazing.
I was excited.
Do you know my reaction when we drafted Giannis Antetokounmpo?
Who was that?
I was like, what the heck are we doing? Who is this guy?
Oh, wow.
So,
look at you.
I
wrong.
Look at me. I was way wrong and thankful to be so wrong. But I remember literally I was having drinks and dinner with a buddy, and it was on in the background, and it was okay, Bucks come up, here we go. What are we going to take? And then I just saw
David Stearns.
Alphabet soup of a name. And I was like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I remember putting a post on Facebook, and I see it every year around June when the draft was. It says, my Bucks drafted a no-name who played against high school level talent overseas, and then drafted a dude named Ricky Leto, I think it was, Leto, who they ended up trading. I believe that was a year. Here comes first round pick. Here, the road to the first overall pick starts today.
Yeah,
I mean, we did end up getting the first overall pick the next year, but But I didn't think that Giannis would be this great.
No. So I don't think. Did anybody, honestly?
Maybe John Hammons, but I would love to relive this over and over and over again. We are talking about Wisconsin sports memory in honor of Groundhog's Day. What is the one Wisconsin sports memory you want to live over and over again? And what is one that you wish never happened? Patrick said the best sports memory he had was the Packers 2011 Super Bowl. That was a great one. But the worst, he said, Duke beating Wisconsin in a championship game. Ooh, Ben, I'm sure you're not paying attention. I'm sure you're sleeping or doing something not with your baby right now.
Resting.
Yes, he's resting. But that definitely would have hurt Ben hearing about that game. But 800-990-3776, that's the ESPN Wisconsin talking text line. Definitely keep them coming on the text line. I see them coming. Hit us up on the phone lines. But Brad, what do you have over there for us? What are you looking out that for?
Groundhog's Day, whether it's spring's coming, more weeks of winter, all it does is remind me of is how crazy weather is in Wisconsin. And I've got a solution for you. Because Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, that is their goal, that is their treat, to be able to have your house be energy efficient, safe from the elements, keeping all the things that should be outside out there, all the things that should be kept safe interior in your house with their windows, with their doors. They are the best, and I am thankful to be able to tell you about a new deal that they have going on. It's 0% interest. That's right, 0% interest for up to 3 years, or they're giving you an option. This is very rare. Or make no down payment, no interest, and no payments for 18 months. So it's kind of explore your own, take your own journey. Do you want 0% interest up to 3 years? Or do you want to make no down payment, no interest, and no payments in general for 18 months? Imagine having those beautiful Pellas and doors installed and protecting your home. They're not only are they beautiful, but they're durable, and they help your home's value, and they help keep all the elements out. And this incredible financial deal that they're offering to take advantage of. Pella's expert team installs year-round, easy, no mess. But this deal, it only lasts until February 29th. So February 2nd now, that's not too long. You're going to want to act fast. Customize any window or door to match your unique home. Visit PellaWI.com.
We're talking about Groundhog's Day, but we also have to talk about Groundhog's Day because you know who will want to relive a special day?
Who?
Goody would want to relive a special day, and that special day will be 2020 when Aaron Rodgers heard a draft pick of Jordan Love. He poured him some scotch. I think he smoked him a cigar, and he said, uh-oh, my future's not bright here in Green Bay. But Goody, he would want to relive that day over and over again because he got it right. We'll talk about that and so much more. Keep it locked. You're listening to KBN here on ESPN Wisconsin.
This is Kyle Bruston Nortman.
He is now off his rocker saying it. Well, if I played...
Choke artist. Choke artist, choke artist, choke artist. That's what you both are. Yeah, I said it. You both are choke artists.
Losers, choke artists.
That's what you are. You choked against TCU. You choked against Oregon. You choked against Kentucky. Y'all choked against Duke. I can keep going.
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
ESPN Wisconsin's Ben Brust here because Forward Healthy Lifestyles has shown me that getting older doesn't mean you have to feel older. We used to think getting older meant having less energy, less muscle, less endurance, less sex, and perhaps a bit more joint pain and weight around that waist. Not anymore. The experts at Forward Healthy Lifestyles help men optimize their hormone levels, including testosterone, providing cutting-edge regenerative medicine therapies, and even help men lose stubborn weight with programs like semaglutide. In 2024, change your life. Visit ForwardHealthyLifestyles.com for a free consultation.
Cousins Subs is teaming up with Feeding America Eastern Wisconsin and Bobby Portis from January 15th to February 29th in support of their PB&J Challenge campaign. Throughout the campaign, Cousins will donate 50 cents for every kids' meal sold to support the challenge. But there's more. Kids will receive a Bobby Portis headband with each kids' meal purchase. And Cousins will be offering a limited time only PB&J kids meal during the campaign. Cousins Subs. We believe in better. Headbands available while supplies last.
Hey, remember when we were having conversations without words like inflation, recession? Yeah, I miss those days too. So at Quick Trip, we're feeling a bit nostalgic. So we've lowered the prices on all our take-home meals. Every day, not on second Tuesdays or every Good Friday. Every day, make your next meal a trip down savings lane with chicken, bacon, mac and cheese, just $4.99. Or spaghetti and meatballs, $5.99. Quick Trip. We got mealtime savings nostalgia covered.
Do you love winning? This February, head to Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee and fall head over heels with the Love It or Leave It $400,000 game show. Thursday nights, you could play the Love It or Leave It game show where you can love your prize or leave it for another. Play with your club card to earn drawing entries. Top prize is $10,000 in cash. It's time for Love It or Leave It. Only at Potawatomi. Learn more at PaceBig.com. Must be 21 years old and a club member to play.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor.
Hi, Hi, this is Marie from Discount Liquor, Southeastern Wisconsin's beer, liquor, and wine headquarters. For over 60 years, 7 different decades, all as a local family-owned business. Discount Liquor has a selection with over 14,000 varieties of beer, liquor, and wine in stock, along with everyday low prices, expert service, and convenience with 2 locations. But don't just take my word for it. Let's check out some online reviews. Robert wrote, "There's not a better liquor store around. Nobody even comes close to their beer selection. The only issue? I get brain overload because there are so many choices." And Aubrey recalled, "I went in looking for a very specific and rare dessert wine. They not only knew of it, but special ordered it and called us when it was available for pickup. Just can't beat their service." Thanks, Robert and Aubrey, for your kind words and patronage. Discount Liquor in Milwaukee on 51st and Oklahoma, and in downtown Waukesha on Main and Barstow.
UW Credit Union presents the Student Athlete of the Week, supporting local student athletes as they grow on the field, in the classroom, and in the community. UW Credit Union is here for every you. Learn more at uwcu.org. Here's Ashton Rotman with the UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week.
This week's UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week is Wisconsin Lutheran's Con Kneppel. With a nearly 40-point victory over South Milwaukee, which followed an 80-63 win earlier last week against New Berlin-Eisenhower, Con tallied up a cool 57 total points in those wins. Kneppel is already committed to play for Duke next season and head coach John Shire, but was left off the McDonald's All-American game rosters, causing a bit of a disappointment around the local basketball community. However, he didn't let that sway him. The senior became the all-time leading scorer in Wisconsin Lutheran history last week. Kneppel and his Wisconsin Lutheran squad look to keep their undefeated season going as they take on both Greendale and New Berlin West this week. Congratulations to UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week, Con Kneppel.
You're listening to Kyle Brust and Nortman, KBN, on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
No Ben this week as Baby Brust has arrived. But you got Brad, the longtime NFL punter, holding it down. Day number 71.
Day number 71.
Wearing team-issue gear from either the Wisconsin Badgers, where he played Division I football, and was known as, what did Kirk Hershey call you?
An offensive weapon.
He was an offensive weapon.
During the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, at the University of Wisconsin, and played for the Carolina Panthers, played in the Super Bowl, and the Jacksonville Jaguars. So quite an accomplished career you had there, Brad.
Yeah, and because of all those years, you really accumulate a lot of apparel, right? These teams just give you gear after gear after gear. So it's like half my closet. And I was wearing it on several shows. I was wearing it in a sales meeting. Kyle and Ben, they're like, "Oh, Brad, you're just trying to front. You're trying to remind everybody that you're a former athlete and
which
whatnot."
you were.
And I was,
you gave us zero pushback on wearing all this apparel.
I did, but it was thinking that under the idea that I have so much of it, it's like most of my decisions, and in a way to prove how much I have, figured out this bet of how long I could go without repeating wearing upper body team issued gear. Badgers, Super Bowl 50, Jaguars, Panthers. This is day 71. Over under is 77.5. So for those keeping track.
Are you sure it wasn't 78.5?
I'm pretty sure because I was torn.
Maybe it was 80.5.
I was torn between 80 and 75, and we split the difference.
No, let's go 80.5.
You're going to take it up with Ben. He has the other side of the bet. If it's 77.5, it'll be a week from this coming Tuesday that we will figure out if I can continue going that long. It's going to be close. I'm not going to lie, KBN Nation. It's going to be close. And honestly, I am good on wearing issued gear for like a long time now. I am sick of it. So all those who see me wearing Jags and Panthers, I hear you guys saying, "Hey, who's this fraud?"
Fraud. That F word's being thrown around quite a bit, the fraud word. But we're talking today about things that hurt us. And one thing, and it comes to in honor of Groundhog Day, what you would want to live over and over for Wisconsin sports memory. And then one thing you would not want to live over and over, like Brad doesn't want to relive that 2015 Super Bowl.
I don't. Oh, yeah. If we're going nationwide, that one really, really is stinging, and that one really painful. The 2015 Super Bowl between the Panthers and the Broncos. The Broncos just break my heart. They break my heart as an 8-year-old beating the Packers. They break my heart as an athlete. Oh, I hate the Broncos.
Brandon, at the gym, you got anything for us of what made you so happy that you want to live over and over, and what is something that broke your heart that you never want to ever have to think about again? You're on KBN.
Guys, big fan. The two are specific, the Hail Marys from number 12.
Oh, yeah.
I remember running around my house.
Yeah, me too.
Dude, who's that guy, Jeff Janik?
Jeff Janis, and then also Richard Rodgers.
Yep.
And then the bad one, there's two. The Brandon Bostic onside kick that Jordy Nelson was supposed to go for, and he kind of got in the way and then fumbled it. And then the 2001 Bucks losing to AI in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, those are tough, man. Thanks, Brandon. I appreciate that. Now, Brandon's got some really good ones, because the thing about it, this is what I love about sports, is when he talked about, the worst ones, I can just envision, or the best ones and the worst ones. The best ones, I envision Jeff Janis catching the touchdown pass, and I envision Richard Rodgers catching the touchdown pass, Aaron Rodgers kind of, moving around, throwing it, launching it up there. Like, I can envision that. I can envision, and I believe it was Brandon Bostic, he tipped it, right? He ended up touching it, tipped it up in the air, or knocked it down or something like that. When it would have went to Jordy, had he let it go.
Yeah, what's wild about sports memories is that I can remember exactly where I was when I watched it. I mean, not to the extent of like what I was wearing and stuff, but I remember the room and the time of day, all these things, watching those. I remember them so distinctly. There are other things in life I want to remember that I just easily forget. But whatever it is about sports memories, they're just so distinct. Whether you want to forget them or want to remember them, you end up remembering them more often than not.
You absolutely do. And unfortunately, here as a Packer fan, we have had some really great ones, but also the ones when it mattered, they sting the most. And quick update. My bad, Ben. I should have known better to think that you played on the national championship game. I know you made it to a Final Four, but obviously you were holding the team back once you left. That's when they were going to a national championship.
To the next level.
They broke through once he left. So he didn't play against Duke in that game. He was watching on TV just like I was, because the team was just better when he was not there. Kind of like now, where the K in the end is better without the B.
I mean, we're holding it down. I mean, what does he expect? He's out there. He's at home. He's putting his feet up. He's relaxing, and he's saying, "Baby, you're doing a great job with the young one."
Great work.
That's
great
right.
work. We're speaking of great work. Brian Gutekunst. Did he do good work? Has he been good enough as a GM? Has he finally earned his trust? Because earlier this year on KBN, we were ripping Goody. We were ready to go to 1265 Lambeau. That's what it's called, right? Lombardi. 1265 Lombardi. And we were ready to go rip Goody. We were ready to go get Goody fired. But do we still have that same anger, that same disdain for Goody? Do you trust him? We'll find out next from Brad, myself, and also you, KBN Nation. Keep it locked, because we have great conversation on the other side.
This is Kyle Bruston Nortman, KBN.
He was the lead in the girls softball movie, the Bernstein Bears. What's it called?
800
what?
990
Tom Hanks, that movie. There's no crying in baseball. What was it?
That was A League of Their Own.
Not Bad News Bears.
The Bernstein Bears, like the book.
Bernstein Bears. Bro, you're done.
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com. Football Guy.
What the hell happened to Bucky on your hat?
Football Guy.
A lot of wear and tear for old B.
Coming at it from different views.
I'm just saying he's well worn. I mean, his face is missing.
Okay, well, it's probably time for me to freshen that up. Bucky wants to flip you off right now.
Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Also sponsored by Coors Light. Weekdays 9 to noon on 94.5 ESPN. And available wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
Hey, it's Gary Olson here for Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center. Looking for that midday escape? Or maybe you want to impress a client? No matter the season, rain, snow, or shine, Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center is open for you. A top-tech, cutting-edge golf experience that gives you the chance to play legendary courses. Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center simulators, entertainment, and best Bloody Marys make it feel like summer all year round. Just $35 an hour gets you a round and puts that summer feel back in your life. Book your bay at WisconsinIndoorGolfCenter.com.
It's time for the Milwaukee Basketball Report on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by National Liquor Mart, located at 16th and National in Milwaukee. National Liquor Mart is packed with deals for all your beverage needs, where your satisfaction is their plan of action. Open 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily.
In the category of late game excitement, Dame Lillard's return to Portland did not disappoint as he and Giannis linked up for a late score for a lead.
Damian Lillard had his chance. Ball knocked away from Simons, picked up by Lillard. Lobs to Giannis, who thumps it down on the alley-oop. And how about that fitting response from the Bucks?
Unfortunately, though, it's the Blazers coming away with a win thanks to this bucket.
Simons puts up the runner, gets it to go. Portland's back ahead by one with 17.6 seconds to go now in the fourth.
119-116, the final score. Blazers beat the Bucks. Couple days off for the Bucks before they head to Dallas to take on the Mavericks on Saturday night.
This has been the Milwaukee Basketball Report on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by National Liquor Mart.
Hi, this is John Neal, CPA, best-selling author and founder of the Neal Group. I have some questions for you. Who does your books? Hopefully not you. There are better things for you to do in running your business. Do you trust the numbers? Good numbers are critical for making good decisions. Are you getting the advice you need to minimize your taxes and put more money in your pocket? A good advisor makes suggestions to help your business grow and minimize taxes, not just put numbers on a form. Do your calls get returned and your questions answered? Many of our new clients tell us they love our quick response time. We have helped countless businesses increase their profits and lower stress. Get the advice you want and need to grow your business and minimize taxes. If you want to get started on the road to making more money and having less stress, visit nealgroup.net right now. That's NEAL group.net. The first meeting is free to see if we can help. Again, nealgroup.net.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tauscher here, and if you're like me, you're probably budgeting out the rest of your 2024. Well, now's the time to set preferred dates for booking Johnson & Sons Paving. Whether it's asphalt or concrete, they set the standard for your needs. Maybe it's patching now, but a full repaving later. Talk with a Johnson & Sons project manager and set yourself up with a 5-year game plan. Booking work now gives you all the time needed to get the right paperwork in place. Get started now at johnsonsonspaving.com.
Experience, knowledge, and results. That's what really matters when you need help after a serious truck accident. You'll need a lawyer experienced in fighting and winning for people just like you. Gruber Law Offices has the resources, strong track record of success, and a team of experienced lawyers to take care of your needs. We've successfully helped people injured in big truck accidents for more than 35 years. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
This is Kyle Bruston Nortman on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
It is KBN here on ESPN Wisconsin, 100.5 ESPN Madison, 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee, 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam. I'm Kyle Wallace. He's Brad Nortman. You can watch and stream us live right now on YouTube by going to ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube, ESPN Madison on YouTube as well. Join the group chat that we have as we've been talking about the best Wisconsin sports memories that we would love to relive because it is Groundhog's Day. And I've never seen the movie, and I probably won't ever watch the movie unless I'm forced to as part of my job. But so I just had to trust you,
Forced
Brad.
to.
Yeah, forced to. Forced to. You know, if they paid me to watch it, then I'll watch it. But other than that, it doesn't seem like I'm missing much.
Wow.
It sounds like a traditional classic movie.
It is traditional classic movie. Maybe, they're going to play it today on loop on one of those stations. Maybe just tune in for 15 minutes, see if it grabs you, see if it tickles you.
I don't know. There's probably better trash TV for me to watch.
Probably.
Yeah, it definitely is. But before the break, we talked about this. Goody. Goody had his end-of-the-year press conference yesterday, and he spoke so highly of our quarterback, of the guy that we all enjoy, in Jordan Love. He talked about how he's ready to build his team around Jordan Love. He's confident in the
Love.
Yeah, it definitely starts with Love, and Goody believes that it definitely starts with Love. He even said, listen, Jordan was so good towards the end of the season, especially in the second half, and he's excited to build around him. And this is something that makes us ponder this. Before this season, we all felt a certain way about Goody. Has the way that we felt about Goody, all gone now in the past. Let bygones be bygones. Now after the fact that he was able to find a franchise quarterback in Jordan Love. Do you trust Goody moving forward to build a championship team around Jordan Love and bring the Lombardi Trophy back home to Green Bay? Brad, do you trust Goody?
I do trust Goody, but I will admit I did not always trust Goody. I think it really became clear this week, right? It's ironic in the fact that the Diana Rossini Athletic article that just did a deep breakdown of the New York Jets and Aaron Rodgers and all the dysfunction and all the drama, and then you just compare that to this steady, stable, vanilla, and that's like not even a bad thing because Goody is just going to be him. It's no drama. It's no fluff. It's just like, I'm just going to do my job. Press conference that he had yesterday. And I just try to think of the two paths that each of them have walked since their breakup last year. I can't help but notice how big of a divergence it is from Brian Gutekunst to Aaron Rodgers in New York. And it makes me think that Brian Gutekunst, he basically is vindicated. He won. He won the trade. He won the split up. He won the breakup. However you want to put it, he certainly won it, no matter from here on out what Rodgers does in New York. And I'm not going to lie, I didn't always feel like I could trust him. I think back to the 2020 season, the 2021 season, the Packers were great. Aaron Rodgers, MVP. And you have to give Goody some credit for cultivating that roster. Now, a lot of those guys were Ted Thompson guys, so he was benefiting from an already generally positive roster. Matt LaFleur comes in, bandages it all together, gets Rodgers playing great football. There was a lot of criticism of Goody because you're thinking, well, why didn't they make a move at the deadline? Why didn't they choose this free agent? The biggest one was, why did they draft Jordan Love in the first round in 2020 when the Packers clearly need another pass catcher? They clearly need another, defensive back, whatever it is, to get a Super Bowl today. Well, I think that criticism was warranted. But then when that time for Aaron Rodgers came and went with no Super Bowl, I think there was some questions as to whether, is Goody the right man for this? We're going to find out. But is he the right man for this because you had an MVP level quarterback and you didn't get a Super Bowl? Now you look at it right now, even in October, I was thinking, man, these kids are playing confused and like they're not capable to play in the moment. Was all those years of building and sacrificing, is it worth it? I can say now, as looking back at this last season, the recent drafts, what Goody has built, and the future, the optimistic future that stands in the Packers' visions right now, that absolutely, I got to trust him. And my trust wavered in him for some time, but I trust him because what he has built is rare. It's hard to do this young of a team with this bright of a future. And the biggest thing, honestly, is the quarterback, right? He put his career reputation on Jordan Love and, getting Aaron Rodgers out of town. I did feel like he maximized almost his time with Rodgers, but the reality is, I would rather a GM make sure that a team can stay as competitive and as good as possible for as long as possible. I'm not sure always going all in 1 year is the way to go, because if you go all in 1 year, you might lose that year, and then it might all be for nothing. If you're very good for a long period of time, you just keep making the playoffs, you keep staying relevant, you keep staying good. All you have to do, that's more volume by which you can just break through. There's more opportunities to go on that run, win that championship. So I think the way he did it was the right way to go. Draft and develop. Let's stay as good as possible for as long as possible, not go all in. And how can you argue with the product that's on the field right now? You've got a future franchise quarterback in Jordan Love who has a chance to be elite. I think you think he's there already, and he might be, but he's at a minimum, he's a top 10 quarterback, and most people would pick him. He's got a bunch of young guys all over the field. The future is so bright. So my trust in him wavered. I'm not going to lie. This last October, I wasn't so sure. In 2020 and 2021, I wasn't so sure. But I don't know how you can argue with the product on the field right now.
When did you retire from the NFL?
I was released in 2018, never to sign again. I'm officially retired in early 2020.
Okay. So you were still in the league when the Packers were one of the better teams in the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
And what was your perception of the Green Bay Packers when you were in the NFL?
From 2012 to 2018?
Yeah.
That they're an elite, contending, dangerous team.
And then, but did you think they were missing anything to get over the hump to win a championship?
Yeah, I mean, but every team has holes.
Yeah, every team has holes, but when you have a franchise quarterback, you have to put everything around him. And so me and Brian Gutekunst, the general manager of the Green Bay Packers, we have had a rocky and complicated relationship. This has been up and down. It has been toxic. It has been absolutely toxic, the relationship that we have had. The emotional roller coaster he has personally put me on is damaging to my soul. But I will say this, he has earned my trust back. But I want everybody to understand and know that rightfully so, Goody lost everybody's trust here in Green Bay because of what he decided not to do. Goody never actually went all in when he had Aaron Rodgers as a quarterback. When your quarterback and your star receiver are talking about somebody being Jerry Krause, the Jerry Krause that had a great team in the Chicago Bulls with Michael Jordan, but decided he didn't want to keep him around because he wanted to write his own history. He wanted to start his own path. And that's why to this day, sadly, his widow was booed at a Chicago Bulls game recently. That's very sad. But that's the type of disdain that his own organization and players had for him because they did not trust Goody. And so if the players didn't trust Goody in that time, and then you look at the track record of success of his draft picks, early on, his draft picks were bad. They weren't good. He missed on first-round draft picks. How many players he's passed over that he didn't hit on, and those guys go on to be great? I know that happens in the NFL, but Goody just seemed to miss on a lot of different things. His drafts weren't great. He didn't sign good free agents. When you look at what he could have put around Aaron Rodgers needed to have some type of offensive weapons around him. And what did he do? He gave him Devin Funchess and Sammy Watkins.
He had Devontae Adams. He gave him in the league.
Yeah, but he only had one. He gave him Jimmy Graham. He had to beg for them to get Randall Cobb back. I mean, the best free agent signings are guys like Billy Turner and Ricky Wagner. You remember Ricky Wagner? You played with Ricky Wagner.
With Ricky.
Exactly. Like all these average free agent signings, Adrian Amos, that's the best free agent signing that you have. And so that's the issue that I have with Goody, is that Goody truly never went all in offensively to put as many pieces around Aaron Rodgers. And when we had that window, that championship window with Aaron Rodgers as a quarterback, we decided that we were just going to run it back with the team that we had instead of say, let's reinforce ourselves, let's get better. I think it's an absolute shame that we yesterday listened to Goody talk about how he's going to build around Jordan Love and develop and do everything Jordan Love needs in order for this team to win, but never had that same type of want and desire to build around Aaron Rodgers. So I think it's an absolute shame, and I will not forgive him for that. But in relationships, you have to forgive. And in this relationship, I have forgiven him in a sense of this, is that I'm not going to say all that stuff in the past doesn't matter, but what I'm going to say moving forward, I'm going to trust you. You know why I'm going to trust him?
Why is that, Jordan Love?
It's because when I look at my little sexy quarterback we got back there, I get excited. When I look at...
It starts with love.
It starts with love. And then when I look at that receiving core that we had, whether it was guys coming out of nowhere, Bo Melton, whether it was Reed, whether it's once, Watson gets healthy, he has his flashes, Romeo Doubs having big games, our two tight ends, Kraft and Musgrave playing well, offensive line looking better. Like, okay, we got some weapons now. We have a quarterback and we got some weapons. I trust Goody now. I trust Goody based off the last two drafts and based off the results this year that Matt LaFleur and Goody might be working hand in hand to get me, yes me, a Super Bowl ring.
Well, okay, so he lost your trust.
Yeah, he should, and rightfully so. Yeah, he lost my trust and he regained it.
Well, I think there's an argument to be made that he did surround Matt LaFleur and
with what?
Aaron Rodgers with a good team.
No, stop it.
They went 3 straight years.
Wait a minute.
3 straight years and 13 wins. Clearly they had a good team. It was Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs that blew it every year.
What's your take on Devin Funchess, your former teammate?
He's okay.
He's okay. Okay. So if you signed to the Green Bay Packers and you heard that Devin Funchess was going to be signed to the team, would you be like, oh man, we got Devin Funchess, or would you be like, oh okay?
Look what Pat Mahomes is doing with just one elite receiver in Travis Kelce, who's old. He's past his prime.
Answer the question. Would you be excited or gung-ho to say my boy Devin?
I got to fill the depth chart, you know?
Exactly. You're filling we need to fill the depth chart with guys who actually are worth the dang, not with dudes named Devin Funchess, who you play with, who you said is just an okay player.
Bunches of Funches.
Yeah,
all right.
But Bunches of Funches never even played for the Green Bay Packers after the preseason because he got hurt. So 800-990-3776. You about to make me mad again and have me lose that trust because it is a very thin line that he is walking in tightrope. He's walking with me. But I want to know, and Brad wants to know, KBN Nation, Has Goody earned your trust after drafting Jordan Love, after getting a great rookie class, after making the playoffs and having a great run in the playoffs as well this year? Has Goody earned your trust to move this team forward to build a championship caliber team? 800-990-3776. That is the ESPN Wisconsin talking text line. We want your calls. We want your texts. We want you to watch us live on the stream and chime in on the group chat. We're going to have more conversations and calls coming up next. You're listening to KBN on ESPN Wisconsin.
Here in Wisconsin, one name is synonymous with fantastic frozen pizza, Palermo's. For almost 60 years, Palermo's has focused on feeding Wisconsin families. And though Palermo's has grown a lot since 1964, they're still family-owned. They're still proud to call Milwaukee home. And they're still committed to making the best frozen pizza possible. From their new and improved rising crust pizzas to their guilt-free Primo thin pies, Palermo's has a delicious slice for every appetite. Find Palermo's in your local grocer's freezer food aisle. Palermo's, flavor is our family's business.
Hey, Drew Scott here, and I'm Jonathan Scott, reminding you that life's better with a home policy from American Family Insurance. They can help you get just the right protection at just the right price and help you save when you bundle home and auto. Kind of like Goldilocks and the Three Bears. It'll be just right for you. We love a custom build. American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Bucks fans, join us for our 414 All Nights, a celebration of our diverse fan base where we showcase fan stories and highlight their unique and impactful contributions to our community. Come for the amazing Bucks basketball action. Stay for the recognition of our amazing fan base at our 414 All Nights, where diversity is embraced and every fan is celebrated. Go to bucks.com/impact for dates and details.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tauscher here for my friends at Kohler Services. Well, you thinking about updating your bath or shower? Turn to Kohler Services for end-to-end bath and shower remodeling, where Kohler design consultants and installers do the work for you. Family-owned for 150 years, Kohler is your Wisconsin manufacturer providing care for life. Start enjoying your bath or shower right now with a special offer. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote. With fast, professional installation always included. That's KohlerServicesWI.com.
Hey, this is Brad Nortman from KBN. Tune into Kyle Bruston Nortman from 2 to 5 every day. WKTI and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station. Broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. This is Kyle Bruston Nortman, KBN, on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Man, didn't I say Fridays were my day? Fridays are like, you got me all hot on Goody now because you got me reminiscing down memory lane of when Goody decided that he did not want to build around Aaron Rodgers, and then he tried to build through the draft, and I mean he failed building through the draft up until 2023. And well, I should say 2022 and 2023. He drafted Jordan Love. That's basically it. But now I'm going to trust him. But then, Brad, during the break, I saw this dang tweet. Say it ain't so. From Aaron Wilson on X. You know what? I'm going to get to this tweet later.
No, you want to get to it later?
Okay, fine. All right, fine.
No, I'll let you.
Brad,
you want to avoid it, it's okay.
Okay, keep it locked.
Not address it.
KBN Nation, I'm going to get to this tweet that just got me so upset. Thank you, Brad. And then Brad tried to sit here and confirm that the dude was legit. Oh, the guy's legit. It's probably legit. We're going to talk about that a little bit coming up. Keep it locked because I got to tell y'all about this tweet that came out because if you're like me, you're going to be very disappointed because now we're all second place, Brad. 800-990-3776. This is KBN. That's our ESPN Wisconsin talking text line, and we are talking about Brian Gutekunst. Do you trust him? Do you trust Goody to lead this team to a Super Bowl with the draft picks that he had and based off the past track record that he had with the Packers? Niall and Kewaskum, what are your thoughts?
I think Goody missed on not bringing in J.J. Watt when J.J. moved from Houston to Phoenix. I think that would have been enough to put us over the top to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, Brad, do you think he would have signed with us?
I think he would have. I remember an interview with I didn't do the interview with JJ, but I did an interview with JJ that made the rounds. And he basically said the Packers had no interest. Now, with JJ, he was serviceable in Arizona for sure. I mean, he was utterly elite, generational in Houston. So I think those injuries might have been what caused the Packers to have hesitation. But in retrospect, just to have a guy that can bully people around and make some plays, I think it would have helped. I actually
impact
agree.
player, right?
He might have been able to take a discount too to come back to Wisconsin in the twilight of his career, be a contender. So that one might have been a miss.
See, I believe in the fact that if you're able to keep his reps down a little bit in the sense that you keep him as fresh as possible, he's not playing every single defensive rep, even though he probably wasn't down in Houston. I have no idea. Definitely Arizona, I know he didn't. But you can keep his reps down a little bit. I think J.J. Watt could have been good with the Green Bay Packers. I think he would have been effective and impactful. At least, I mean, he's J.J. Watt. They're not going to, I mean, you play the NFL. I mean, those dudes like that, they can pop anytime. And he's not that old still.
Even at that point would have been, a J.J. Watt that experienced injuries, right? So, was he the same elite, all-pro, 3-time, I think Defensive Player of the Year? Was he that? No, he wasn't. But he was still a high-quality, really effective player. So, if you're going to be critical of Goody, I think it's a fair criticism, and it falls under this category where we saw it with Anders Carlson this year, where he is.
Why are we bringing him up? What does he have to do with this?
I'm saying he is committed to his draft picks, right? He is committed to the guys that he has selected to draft and develop. That is the foundation of the Green Bay Packers system. That's the foundation of the Goody system. And when you add through free agency, you bandage things up. You fill holes that you can't otherwise fill in. And let's be honest, Goody is committed to defensive draft picks. So he's probably thinking to himself, I'm going to let my defensive draft picks do it. It's the system that works.
Brad,
Don't get me wrong.
I'm getting mad again now because JJ had 12.5 sacks this last season.
I mean, he was still a force
to be reckoned with. It would have been a force to be reckoned with.
But you can't have both.
We're trying to build a championship team here, man.
You can't always have both. The system.
Yes, you can.
Kyle, the system.
You lost to a team that had both. They had a good quarterback at the Denver Broncos, but they had an even better defense. They had an old Asian quarterback.
The system that the Packers have success with, which is draft and develop, it does not cater to signing free agents. Now, you could also argue that the time they did sign a great defensive free agent, they won Super Bowls, like Charles Woodson and Reggie White. So you have to do it tactfully, and when you do it, go all in. But the system is draft and develop and trust your draft picks unless you're proven otherwise. So if you're going to be critical of Goody, which I think is a fair criticism, that maybe he doesn't swing on free agents enough, he doesn't blend those two systems enough, I think that's a fair criticism.
800-990-3776. Brad is over here defending Brian Gutekunst. You're making me lose trust. I literally, that's how emotional that our toxic relationship is that all it takes is for you to say some things that remind me of the past, and then having somebody call in to say that we probably could have signed J.J. Watt, who ended up having a really good season in his last season in the NFL. It just makes me even more frustrated. We want to hear from you. 800-990-3776. George on the north side. Was it Goody or was it Rodgers?
Listen, I don't like... thing I like talking, coming into these shows, you get to talk and to voice your opinion. You got your opinion, and everybody hears it. So all I'm saying is I never really liked Aaron Rodgers in the first place because my thing is this right here.
Wow.
You have a superstar quarterback. You keep talking about what they didn't have. They had a superstar receiver, superstar quarterback. You had serviceable pieces around you. What is the job of the superstar quarterback? It's to elevate. We can name other teams that didn't have as much as what the Packers had and did well. Why we have to keep making excuses? Gutekunst has done a good enough job up to this point where we at. Aaron didn't want to deal with the people that Love is dealing with. And look what happened. When you're a stubborn person and you think you know everything, sometimes you can shoot yourself in the foot. Let's just realize that Aaron Rodgers was who we thought was a superstar quarterback that can elevate people with his play, refused to play with the younger players to elevate them. Instead, you can see on his face, if they do a slant pattern and they miss it, he's complaining, he's yelling, he's not motivating, he's not a leader. And when you got that type of guy in the room, How are you going to get better? I'm scared to drop a pass because dude's going to yell and scream. I don't want no young guys. Go get me an old-ass receiver. Excuse my language. Go get me this old receiver, that old receiver.
Just keep it that.
You know what I'm saying?
I feel you.
They kept doing what Aaron wanted. Resign Cobb. Get this person. Get that slow person. So then when it fails, He's one of whines and complain. Bro, you wanted these people, bro.
Hey,
so now that it don't work, you're frustrated?
George, you know what? And see, this is why I'm so torn, because yes, I don't like Goody all the time, and I did not have trust in him because I don't feel like he put enough around him. But George is right, because listen, Brad, you just talked about and referenced that Diana Rossini article from The Athletic that talked about what happened in New York with the Jets when Aaron Rodgers was there. It seemed like there was a lot of dysfunction going on there, and it seems that dysfunction may follow Aaron Rodgers every step of the way of where he goes in life.
It really does. I mean, that type of thing matters, right? We talked about this earlier in the week. Is Rodgers a subject, and the fact that he fell short in a lot of ways in the playoffs, not getting to their Super Bowl. Is it his fault, or was it his circumstances' fault? And I think it's Aaron Rodgers' fault, to where he doesn't have the capability to play a team sport. This is a team sport, and he's dramatic and he's self-focused, and like that's just who he is. He'd be a great golfer and he'd be a great tennis player, but this is not a singular solo sport. And honestly, too, Goody equipped those years, right? The 3 years where they won 13 games, they're in the playoffs. You can't tell me that those were not great teams. You can't win 13 games and say you're a bad team.
They were
Rodgers
flawed,
choked
extremely
in the playoffs.
flawed. I mean, Rodgers did choke, but I'm not going to put this on Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers choked, but I just feel like going all in would have made a huge difference for this Green Bay Packers football team. And that's been my biggest frustration from Randy Moss on down. It's just the fact that the Packers never wanted to get that one guy that would put them over the top for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. It's just not the system, and I think the powers that be at Lambeau thinks this team's good enough. They're proving they're good enough in the regular season. Just keep that play going into the postseason. This is way different than what they're doing with Justin Herbert in LA, for instance. You can look at them and say they are wasting Justin Herbert's career, this elite young talent, because they're not putting very good players around them. And it's showing in the regular season. Can't say the same thing about Rodgers, particularly that second go-around from 2019 to 2020.
800-990-3776. That's the ESPN Wisconsin talking text line. As we were talking about Goody, do you trust Goody now that he found Jordan Love and now that he's talking about signing free agents, building on the future? Do you trust for Goody to build this Green Bay Packers franchise into a championship team after what he has done in the past? George in Milwaukee, do you trust in Goody?
I do trust in Goody. I mean, all you have to do is look at this year and what kind of team he's built for the future. And the blame I put is on our defensive coach. LaFleur should have gotten rid of him. We may be in a Super Bowl this year if we had a decent defensive coach. That's how good that team was this year. And that's Goody's.
I mean, thank you, George. I mean, you know what? Goody gets all the credit. He does, because he is the one that we talked about early in this season, is that he gave Matt LaFleur all these pieces. And what do we talk about? Is that if things did not go right, Goody was going to go to Mark Murphy and say, listen, Mark, I drafted the guys with talent. It's not me. It's Matt. It's his staff. They're not maximizing these guys' potential. They're not maximizing the talent. And you know what? Goody would have been right.
He would have been. And I just think the stones it took to draft Jordan Love in 2020 and ship out Aaron Rodgers a few years later.
Walking on eggshells for years.
I mean, the dude, you can't say that he doesn't take risks, because that was a risk. Most general managers would just say, you know what? I need to appease my quarterback, my Hall of Fame quarterback by any means. But Goody, I think, is thinking 4 years ahead. He's not thinking always 1 year ahead, which maybe is the flaw, right? Maybe you don't get those free agents.
It was a flaw, but that was what he was trained to do by Ted Thompson, is always focus on how we can be sustained success versus one-hit wonder, 1 year being great. Speaking of one-hit wonder, somebody here in the talking text line said, we got to kind of hold on here because we don't know if Jordan Love is going to be a one-hit wonder or not. Brad, your thoughts on one-hit wonder Love?
Well, I mean, I understand that. It's been 10 elite games over the course of one season, but he's shown everything you want to see. I don't think you could have envisioned a better year for Jordan Love. If we were sitting here first week of September, Jordan Love hasn't played a regular season game yet. I don't think anyone could have envisioned it going better. And he's doing what it takes to prove that he's a QB1. He looks the part. He's got the physical strength. Matt LaFleur, Tom Clements, they're coaching him really well, the young talent around him. So he does need to continue to prove it, but I don't think it's going to keep you from extending him and giving him the bag. Once as you find your quarterback, a quarterback that's capable, that you can go to the playoffs with, you can win playoff games with, check and check, you do everything you can to keep him. So I have no problem calling Jordan Love the QB of the future.
Shout out to Bill and Delvin with that take there on thinking Jordan Love may be a one-hit wonder. In a sense of this, he's not going to trust Goody until Jordan proves that he's not a one-hit wonder. I'm in love with Love, so I'm not worried about that. John said, Goody got lucky with these rookie studs making plays on offense. Great draft class, finally. But no, I can't trust them. I ain't trusting them. Defense still needs some more playmakers. I think that is a great fact that he makes is the fact that the defense is still lacking. Despite the offense being great, despite this draft class being great, the defense still ain't where it needs to be.
Well, and we're going to see whose fault it is very, very soon. We're going to see if this is a defensive talent issue and Goody hasn't been doing his thing to be able to make sure the defense isn't it doesn't have the talent it needs, or whether this is all defensive coordinator to where maybe it was Joe Barry, maybe it was Mike Pettin, particularly Joe Barry of late, to where they're not using the talent right. And we're going to see in this new coach in Hafley if he can use it to have them be a top 10 defense.
Speaking of new coach in Hafley, so I talked about this earlier. And there was a tweet that came out recently. And the tweet said this, Brad.
Let's hear it.
It basically said, regarding the future of NFL head coaches, new Ravens defensive coordinator Zach Orr, he had options. And Zach Orr is from the Ravens. He's the brother of Chris Orr, who we work with. We maybe need to ask Chris Orr. We need some insight on this one. Maybe Chris is the one that leaked it. I need Chris Orr. I need him on the phone. We need to confirm this. But according to Aaron Wilson on X, he said Zach Orr had options if the 31-year-old former linebacker hadn't been promoted from inside linebacker to coach or had an offer from the Green Bay Packers to be their defensive coordinator, per league sources, but opted to remain in Baltimore.
Oh, boy.
That would mean that Mr. Hafley was a second pick, just like Mr. Barry was a second pick. Brad,
well, as the resident second place person on this show, that stings a little bit for the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, we're going to have to dissect this and talk about this a little bit more. 800-990-3776. Are you concerned that Hafley was a second pick, maybe? I know I am. We'll talk about it more next.
You're listening to Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN.
Oh, no, not Coach Booty. People said, yes, good riddance. He didn't do enough.
Not Coach Bud, but Coach Booty.
They call him Booty, Bud? Did
they call him
Coach
Booty?
Bud. You know when I said Booty.
Only his friends call him Booty.
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Looks like we've got a crash right now. 894 southbound, just south of Greenfield Avenue. Got the two center lanes blocked. So that's going to be tying things up back into the zoo interchange. Northbound 43 slowing right around North Avenue all the way up to Keefe. Westbound 94 going to slow down from 27th Street to Mitchell Boulevard. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 33. Tomorrow, a few morning clouds, then mostly sunny throughout the rest of the day, a high of 42. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Traffic is brought to you by Great Lakes Dragway. Gear up for the spring season at the legendary Great Lakes Dragway. Season-long family passes are available now at GreatLakesDragway.com.
Weather is brought to you by Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center in Waukesha. Play Whistling Straits and other Pro Tour courses, whatever the weather is, in one of their 12 state-of-the-art simulators.
Badger football fans, Brad Nortman here, inviting you to the Big Red Rally, an evening full of fun, football, and food, hosted at the Italian Community Center in downtown Milwaukee on February 8th. Meet the Badgers' newest recruits and hear directly from head coach Luke Fickell. Tickets to the Big Red Rally can be purchased individually or in tables of 10, with special discounts for UW-Madison grads. Jump around downtown Milwaukee to the Big Red Rally on February 8th and be part of the tradition. Visit uwalumni.com/events for more information. I will see you there.
Hey Wayne, shopping for a new door? Do you need something more dependable?
Yes, something that's durable, dent resistant, knows how to take a hit, and is going to last for years.
We're still talking about the door, right?
Oh yeah, right, of course.
Wayne Larrabee and Jeff Levering shopping together at Pella? What next? How about 0% interest for up to 3 years? Or no money down, no interest, and no payments for up to 18 months at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Visit PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. See showroom for details on March 2, 2024.
Woo! I am thirsty today. Definitely going to need a cold one. Ah, there's the one.
It's almost Mardi Gras season, so Ben's grabbing New Orleans' own Abita Brewing this week. Here's Leo from Abita, giving the inside look at what separates Abita from the rest.
It's really simple. It's the water. It's the number one ingredient in all beers, and our water is pristine for brewing. It comes from a southern aquifer that is over 5,000 years old. All we do is filter it out for sand. We don't treat it. We don't do anything with it. So when you're enjoying your Abita beer, what you'll taste is the water being softer. It's different taste on your tongue or your mouthfeel, and that's really the big thing that separates us from all. We source all our ingredients locally in Louisiana or from around the country. We don't use any adjuncts with it, so it's just great beer.
Find all of Abita's beers at your local retailer today, and as Ben always says, keep that fridge stocked.
I had a really strange experience today.
Strange how?
A man walked into the store who was only about 2.5 feet tall.
What?
And he was carrying a bow and arrows.
Did he sort of have a baby face?
Yes. How did you know?
Sarah, that was Cupid.
Oh.
Did he give us a thumbs up?
Yes, 3 times.
So tell us, what are the Cupid-approved gifts for Valentine's 2024?
He loved our diamond stud earrings starting at $198.
We have 186 different styles and sizes.
And we have more than 1,400 pair in stock.
And Cupid loved our $98 diamond pendant.
It looks like it's worth a lot more.
And every purchase of $298 or more includes a fabulous free travel case to safely transport all of your jewelry.
But mostly, he loved the 4-carat total weight wow diamond engagement ring for less than $4,000.
Welcome to Kessler's for Valentine's Day.
Cupid approved.
Find the Kesslers nearest you at KesslersDiamonds.com.
You're listening to Kyle, Brust, and Nortman on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
It is KBN here on ESPN Wisconsin on a Friday. Is it a Freaky Friday?
Or isn't everyone Freaky Friday?
Yeah, we gonna turn up on Friday. I'm gonna give Chris some music. We about to make this club KBN. That's what we gonna do here. 800-990-3776. Before break, we talked about a tweet that we saw, or X. I don't even know what they're even called now. Are they called X's or tweets? I don't even know.
I've heard it kind of go to Twitter X.
Twitter X. We had a Twitter X post that was out from Aaron Wilson, and Aaron Wilson said, regarding the NFL future of a potential head coach in the future, and that's Ravens defensive coordinator Zach Orr. He said Zach Orr had options. He said if the 31-year-old linebacker hadn't been promoted from inside linebacker coach or had an offer from the Packers to be the defensive coordinator per league sources, but opted to remain in Baltimore. And that would make me so upset because of the fact that would mean once again my Green Bay Packers are going with their second pick. And I don't want, if it ain't our first choice, I don't want them.
Well, okay. First of all, it is Aaron Wilson guy. He's usually correct. It is a report, though, so who knows exactly what's true. But even if it is true, if Zach Orr said no and did get an offer and wanted to stay in Baltimore or whatever, like, just because you're second place, it doesn't mean that you're less of value, Kyle. Trust me, I've been second place plenty of times in my career.
If your current wife said you were her second choice, would you feel good about being second place? I'm just saying you were her first choice, and she was your dream girl. I mean, so I'm just saying.
If Lexi told me that, you know what, I really love you and you're gonna be my husband, but I had another guy that was first choice, that would hurt a little bit. But
exactly.
I'll tell you this though: if she said that to me, I'd lick my wounds for a while. Maybe never get over it. But I would make her the happiest girl on planet Earth either way. And that's what I'm hoping happens with Hafley.
Well,
even if he is the second choice. Even if he's the second choice. You know what? It might not matter. Don't let the past with Joe Barry concern you, because this might be best for the Packers anyway. You have no idea. Zach Orr clearly in demand. He's become the Ravens DC. The dude's going to be a head coach in no time. This might be the best thing for the Packers anyway.
Thank you for taking me away from that cliff that I was on, because I definitely was about to go in circles and go down this terrible path of thinking that Jeff Hafley no longer was my guy after I anointed him being my guy. 800-990 3776. That's the ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line. We want you to stream. We want you to watch us live on YouTube. Go to ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube. Type it in, and you can click and watch us live. You can join us in our chat. Go to ESPN Madison on YouTube. You can also watch and stream us live. Make sure you subscribe to both pages. But Nick in Madison, who do you think Goody is?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
It's going great, man. Thank you.
Goody is Ted Thompson.
Oh, wow.
Explain.
Think about it. What do they have in common? They both came in. They hated their starting quarterbacks.
Ooh,
they
I didn't know
both
Ted
want
hated
no
Brett
free
Favre.
agencies. Well, who did he get rid of?
Well, Brett left.
Favre and Ted did not get along.
They did not get along. Well, because Ted didn't put players around Brett. That's why.
Favre outright made fun of him publicly. Like, it was not good.
Exactly.
Well,
and so what would neither one of them do? Neither one of them wanted to go to free agency to get their players. It was our picks or nobody.
That's very true. And it worked out, and it did work out.
So they are one and the same.
And let's be honest.
They're one and the same, except for one was a complete albino.
Dang.
Are you saying Ted Thompson was albino?
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
Or was he white?
He was just really white.
He looked like a white person to me.
Are all white people look the same, Kyle?
No, they do not. Some have olive skin.
Yes.
Some have lighter skin. Fairer skin. I don't know. Don't come on. That's Black History Month. Don't paint me. Don't do this to me during Black History Month. Now it's my month.
But white people. He's right though. I mean, listen. Goody was a Ted Thompson disciple, right? Goody's been there since 2001.
He's been there a very long time.
I don't know when Ron Wolf even retired. He might have scratched the surface from Ron Wolf, but no doubt that he has seen the way Ted Thompson builds a team, and that's what he knows, right? That all he knows is the Packer way. So if you like Ted Thompson, you should love Goody. But if you want something to change, don't hold your breath. And we can see it as the caller point out, some of this like mirroring that's happening of pick your guy, move on from the old guy, draft and develop, and hopefully you get a couple of choice free agents to help along the way.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that the Green Bay Packers, just along the way, that we start getting our first choices with everything that we do. And so that's why I'm going to put my trust in Goody. I did love Ted Thompson and what he did for the organization, though there were certain issues that I did not like with him not trying to get Randy Moss. That was really the main one, but he did end up signing Charles Woodson. He did end up signing Julius Peppers. He did enough to build a championship. And I hope that he, as Nick said, is going to follow in the footsteps, and I'm talking about he, as in Goody, follow in the footsteps of Ted Thompson and hopefully put together a championship team. And speaking of championship teams, today is also Groundhog's Day, and we're asking everybody, is there a memory in Wisconsin sports history that you would love to live over and over again? And what is one that you wish never occurred? Chef Ed, you're on KBN. What do you got for us?
How's it going, guys? I used to hate Fridays because I used to hate Fridays because being in a restaurant industry, Fridays were always tough because the weekend was coming up. Mm-hmm. But now I enjoy Fridays. I'm like an 18-wheeler with brand new Goodyears. I'm semi-retired.
All right, that's funny. That's funny.
I like that.
Well, my best moment, of course, is in the Super Bowl. Favre to Rising and Favre running across the field, holding his helmet up in the air. I'll never forget that moment. I have a sweatshirt with that picture on it. And the worst moment is pretty much close to tie. It's a Beyonce kick in Seattle. I mean, don't touch the ball. Let Jordy get it. And 4th and 26. Those two will always stick in my head and just really eat at me. And I do trust in Goody. I think he's doing a good job. I think the best GM in Packers history would probably be Ron Wolf, but he has a bad negative thing on his resume as well. Of course, he got Favre, but in the draft pick, when they drafted Tony Mandrich, do you know who they passed up when they drafted Tony Mandrich?
Barry Sanders and Deion Sanders?
They passed up Deion Sanders, Barry Sanders, Troy Aikman, and Derek Thomas. Ooh. And they took Tony Mandrich, a steroid boy. Yeah, that was probably the worst draft pick ever in Packer history. But you guys, I love listening to you guys. You guys always make me laugh. Brad, even if you're second choice, I'm sure Lexi loves you just as much. And you guys have a great weekend.
Oh, Chef Ed always makes me smile. Yeah. That's awesome. Love me some Chef Ed. Thanks, Chef Ed.
I will say, Brad, you got yourself a good one that loves you.
Oh, thank you. I know it.
I appreciate that.
Thank you.
You.
I know. I appreciate that. I'm first place in one area that matters.
Oh, yeah, that matters. That is fantastic.
Can you imagine?
Hey!
That's funny.
Can you imagine? Thanks. That was actually perfect. Can you?
Brad, we ain't Freaky Friday. We ain't talking about that Freaky
Friday.
My goodness.
Can you imagine those 90s Packers teams with any one of those three, Barry Sanders, Deion Sanders, or Derek? You can take Troy Aikman. I'll take Favre. Aikman was great. Or Derek Thomas.
You're right, though. I'll take Favre.
Wow.
No, the teams would have been loaded. Definitely would have been loaded. 800-990-3776. We're talking Packers. We're talking Goody. Do you trust Goody to build a championship caliber team around the Green Bay Packers? But also, we want to talk about calling your shot. Can you call your shot? We want to call our shot with Wisconsin sports headlines coming up next. But before we do, I got to tell you, Underdog Fantasy, I tell you all the time about it. I want you to sign up. I want you to play. My girl, she signed up. She played, and guess what? She won $30. Shout out to Mama.
She did?
She put in $5, and she won $30. She was celebrating, and she was happy. And it really is that easy. All you have to do is go to Underdog Fantasy in the App Store, or you can go to UnderdogFantasy.com, and you have your chance to play and win money. You can win up to 100 times your money. Yes, 100 times your money. Be like my lady. Turn 5 into 30. Turn 5 into 100. Turn 5 into 500. You have the opportunity to do that with Underdog Fantasy. And so what it is a pick'em game where you pick between 2 to 5 players. You select higher or lower on player stats. And if your pick hits, you can win up to 100 times your money on one single night. And just right now, just looking at it, if you download the app right now and you have until 4 o'clock, you got 30 minutes. They have specials going on. 17.5 points for Jimmy Butler tonight. He'll definitely get that. How about this one? Kevin Durant, 32.5 points, rebounds, and assists combined. What? Give me that. That's easy money. Pat Mahomes, 224 yards in the Super Bowl. You have time. You have fun. You can have fun. Get in the game. You got to play. So again, Underdog Fantasy, go download their easy-to-use mobile app in the App Store, or go to UnderdogFantasy.com and sign up with promo code KBN. That's promo code KBN, and Underdog will match your first deposit up to $100. And then when you're ready for the big game, you'll be ready for the big game, but then on top of that, they'll give you a special pick of higher than 0.5 total yards to use on your first pick 'em. That's promo code KBN on Underdog Fantasy. I'm telling y'all this right now. It's so fun to play, and you can win you some money. We all love that. Must be 18 plus and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. Get in the game now with Underdog Fantasy.
This is Kyle Bruston Nortman.
Milwaukee County, you need to shovel the pathway to the lake, okay? I had to step through snow in order to get to the lake.
I think Kyle's the Karen of the show.
I think
he's high maintenance, for sure.
I think Kyle pays taxes in the county of Milwaukee that just went up, so I expect for this stuff to be piled.
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
We've got some backups on southbound 41. We have an accident just south of Greenfield Avenue. Was in traffic. Now everything's off to the right, but backups are all the way back through the zoo interchange, all the way up to Watertown Plank Road. So heads up with that. Westbound 94 slowing from 16th Street to Mitchell Boulevard. The eastbound side slowing from 68th Street all the way to 35th. And then on northbound 43 slowing from Fond du Lac Avenue up past Keefe. Southbound's going to be slow from about Fond du Lac Avenue down past the Marquette. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast tonight, partly cloudy skies, a low of 33. Tomorrow, a few morning clouds, then mostly sunny with a high of 42. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Weather is brought to you by Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center in Waukesha. Play Whistling Straits and other Pro Tour courses, whatever the weather is, in one of their 12 state-of-the-art simulators.
Do you love winning? This February, head to Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee and fall head over heels with the Love It or Leave It $400,000 game show. Thursday nights, you could play the Love It or Leave It game show where you can love your prize or leave it for another. Play with your club card to earn drawing entries. Top prize is $10 grand in cash. It's time for Love It or Leave It. Only at Potawatomi. Learn more at pacebig.com. Must be 21 years old and a club member to play.
An ESPN Radio Extra Point.
with Chris Canty.
You don't hire Dan Quinn unless you have a plan for your offensive coordinator, and that's going to be the person whose primary responsibility it is to develop the quarterback that you take with the second overall pick. Dan Quinn has coached the team to a Super Bowl, and probably the most important thing about the Dan Quinn hire is that he's already done the job before in the NFL and had success. To me, that's critical for a franchise that's trying to get off the mat after the last couple of decades of futility and dysfunction. Being able to have somebody that's not out over their skis, somebody that understands what the jobs entails is important. Being able to bring somebody that has enthusiasm and the ability to relate to this generation of athlete is critical. Dan Quinn, by all reports, by all accounts, can do that. So I think this was a smart hire for the Washington Commanders. They didn't go for the home run. They went for the base hit, and that's just fine by me, given where the franchise is at.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right. Get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Elevate your game day gear or any outfit with official merchandise from the Milwaukee Bucks Pro Shop. From authentic jerseys to exclusive apparel and accessories, the Bucks Pro Shop has everything you need to showcase your fandom wherever you go. Cheer the Deer to victory with authentic Milwaukee Bucks items. Visit us at the Bucks Pro Shop at Fiserv Forum or Bayshore Mall, or shop online at shop.bucks.com.
This is Kyle Bruston Nortman, KBN, on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Woke up this morning to somebody judging me. No surprise they judging me. Don't know who I'm supposed to be. I'm just acting up. I'm crashing. Never saying sorry.
Oh, it is a Friday. It's a Groundhog's Day Friday, a Freaky Friday, as we were talking about. And whenever the Friday rolls around, I'm looking to kick back, have a little alcoholic beverage. What do I always turn to? I always turn to Carbless. It's my favorite premium cocktail in whatever setting. Whether it's just hanging out at home, I just want to go down to the Nortman fridge and open up and get all the different Carbless flavors I have, whether it's going out to a bar, a party, whatever it is, I'm always asking for, I'm always reaching for a Carbless. And here's why. It's got everything I want. Just like the name says, 0 carbs, 0 sugar, 100 calories a can, gluten-free, less carbonation. That means less bloat. Somehow, I don't know how they do it. Perfect level of carbonation. Just enough to be refreshing, but not way carbonated like so many other drinks. So what does that all translate to? It translates to my body feeling better. That's because you guys know me. I eat oatmeal. I work out, all that kind of stuff. And, you know, the last thing I want to do is have to just blow all that up just because I want to have some fun and relax a little bit. With Carbless, I can have the best of both worlds. Not only that, the flavors have something for everybody. They're delicious, whether it be the kind of, the fruity, relaxing flavors like raspberry, cranberry, black cherry. I'm getting into the classic cocktails lately. The Paloma, the Margarita, the Moscow Mule, Mojito. I know I am grabbing one of those tonight. High on flavor, low on calories, low in 0 sugar, 0 carbs. Carbless is my favorite ready-to-drink cocktail, and I want you to experience it for yourself. Figure out why less is more and find them online and at real retailers near you.
Brad, you're special.
Thanks, Kyle.
If nobody told you today, you are special.
Man, this is why the harmonious,
optimistic,
just the KN show is what I needed today.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
I'm glad. That. Don't get too comfortable because Ben will be back next week, and so
that'll be good. Something tells me Ben will be rested, recovered, ready to be back on air.
Mentally fine and great, and just really good to go. Not like he's listening to a crying baby or changing diapers whatsoever. He's relaxing and maxing and taking naps. I love that.
That's right.
But you know what else I love?
What's that?
I love calling our shots. Chris, this is our opportunity to call our shots when it comes to Wisconsin sports. And what we want to call today, Brad, and what we want to call today, KBN Nation, we want to call the next Wisconsin sports headline. As you saw, Corbin Burns was just traded away from the Milwaukee Brewers to the Baltimore Orioles. A lot of us are boo-hooing and sad and all upset about it. That was the headline we had last night and today. But what we want to know from you, KBN Nation, and also you, Bradley Nortman, what is the next headline that we are going to hear in Wisconsin sports?
I don't know what it is about Wisconsin sports lately, but it's just headline after headline. Packers new D coordinator. Bucks fire their coach. Hire Doc Rivers. Like you said, Corbin Burns traded. We are living in Wisconsin sports right now that is just giving us wild change after twist and turn and headline. But here's a headline that I picked is coming up next. This is my call your shot for what will be the next Wisconsin sports headline, and here it is. Aaron Rodgers sells his stake in the Milwaukee Bucks, and the buyer is Jordan Love. That's right. Aaron Rodgers. We all know Aaron Rodgers bought a stake in the Milwaukee Bucks. That's right. We all bought it back in 2018. The valuation
starts with love.
That's right. They're a match made in heaven, right? He bought a 1% stake. Aaron Rodgers bought a 1% stake in 2018. It was valued at roughly $1 billion at that point. So he paid $10 million for his stake in the Milwaukee Bucks. Fast forward to 2023 valuation of the Milwaukee Bucks, $3.2 billion. It's tripled in that amount of years. So now his 1% is worth $32 million. What's going to happen? Jordan Love is going to get paid, and oh boy, he's going to get paid. And it's going to be way over $100 million of even just guaranteed money. So what's he going to do to that? To stamp his flag in the ground and for Aaron Rodgers to continue his phase out of Wisconsin sports? It'll be mutually beneficial. Rodgers triples his money. Jordan Love, now the new owner of not only the Chicago Bears, but of the Milwaukee Bucks. Jordan Love is going to buy Aaron Rodgers' stake in the Milwaukee Bucks, and it might even become something that in 15 years, when Jordan Love goes to the New York Jets, it gets passed down to the next quarterback that's drafted with 3 years left to go.
As a frat boy myself.
Rodgers knows.
As a frat boy myself, and not a frat boy like Wild Frat Boy, as a proud member of the Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, shout out to my Alphas. We'll be here in Milwaukee, in downtown Milwaukee, April 10th to the 14th. You'll see black and gold everywhere. I love traditions. We pass down stuff, and I love the tradition of Aaron Rodgers passing that ownership down, not only of the Bears to Jordan Love, but also the Milwaukee Bucks.
I think so. I think it's going to happen.
I'm going to keep with the theme of where you're going into.
Okay.
Talking about the Milwaukee Bucks. The trade deadline's coming up. And I think this team is missing something. My Milwaukee Bucks need to get something. And the shot I'm going to call for the next big headline that we're going to see in Wisconsin sports news coming up in the next 2 weeks is going to be this. The Milwaukee Bucks get a dog back.
Okay.
We got dogs, you hear me? Milwaukee, we dogs.
Milwaukee, we dogs, you hear me? The headline you're going to see is P.J. Tucker from the 2021 NBA Championship Milwaukee Bucks signs as a free agent with the Milwaukee Bucks.
Oh, I like that.
He's going to get released from the Clippers, and the Bucks are going to sign him, and we going to get our dogs back. Let's hear it again, Chris.
We got dogs, you hear me? Milwaukee, we dogs.
Yes, sir. We dogs, baby. We going to get our dog back. You know what that means?
What's that mean?
Ring me, baby.
Woo.
Ring me. We going to get our boy PJ back, and the Bucks going to get our ring back. We going to get the Larry O'Brien trophy back, and that's the shot that I'm calling. Just watch. 2 weeks from now, we'll be barking, and we'll saying we got our dog back.
I like that. Even just hearing him say that, I feel intimidated. I feel like that dude is going to bring the pain, bring the aggressiveness. Some of this team lacks, and they had that in that 2021 championship run.
They sure do. You know what team lacks having a dog?
Who's that?
The Rutledge and Hamilton team.
Oh, dang.
They like having a dog.
That's a shot.
I mean, they got a Bears fan, you know. A Rutledge is a Bears fan, and so he doesn't know what it means to be a dog. He only knows what it means to be a loser. And he's not personally a loser. He's a great guy personally, but his fandom, his choices, I question his choice of being a Bears fan. We'll probably talk about that and so much more in the bright future that the Packers have with Jordan Love. Keep it locked. There's Rutledge and Hamilton. No Hamilton today, you know. No surprise. We'll have Strophy. So it'll be Rutledge and Strophy coming up next here on KBN.
You're listening to Kyle Brust and Nortman.
If I was as tall and as talented as you, if I could shoot as well as you could, both them teams would have won. Because you know what? You did a fake punch, you said, in the Rose Bowl?
Yeah.
And I would have did fake point. I would have took it to the house. I would have scored a dang touchdown.
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com. Football guy.
What the hell happened to Bucky on your hat?
Football guy.
A lot of wear and tear for old B.
Coming at it from different views.
I'm just saying he's well worn. I mean, his face is missing. Okay, well, it's probably time for me to freshen that up. Bucky wants to flip you off right now.
Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Also sponsored by Coors Light. Weekdays 9 to noon on 94.5 ESPN. And available wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
Woo! I am thirsty today. Definitely going to need a cold one. There's the one.
It's almost Mardi Gras season, so Ben's grabbing New Orleans' own Abita Brewing this week. Here's Leo from Abita, giving the inside look at what separates Abita from the rest.
It's really simple. It's the water. It's the number one ingredient in all beers, and our water is pristine for brewing. It comes from a southern aquifer that is over 5,000 years old. All we do is filter it out for sand. We don't treat it. We don't do anything with it. So when you're enjoying your Abita beer, what you'll taste is the water being softer. It's a different taste on your tongue or your mouthfeel, and that's really the big thing that separates us from all. We source all our ingredients locally in Louisiana or from around the country. We don't use any adjuncts with it, so it's just great beer.
Find all of Abita's beers at your local retailer today, and as Ben always says, keep that fridge stocked.
Hey, it's Gabe Neitzel from Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. You've heard me talk about the results mentality has had on my life, but don't just take it from me. Jason has had success too, thanks to mentality.
My only regret is I didn't do it sooner. Knowing once again I've gotten the treatments done and continuing, I do feel stuff does hurt a little bit more, but I'm 40, in my 40s, and that's going to happen. But again, the energy levels, it is above and beyond. Again, I'm back in that age where I'm like, this is amazing.
Get started today at lowtusa.com.
Some people just know the best rate for you is a rate based on you with Allstate. Not one based on Carol. She's more focused on hitting a high note than the car in front of her. Why pay a rate based on anyone else? Get one based on you with DriveWise from Allstate.
Not available in Alaska or California, subject to terms and conditions. Rates are determined by several factors, which vary by state. In some states, participation in DriveWise allows Allstate to use your driving data for purposes of rating. While in some states, your rate could increase with high-risk driving. Generally, safer drivers will save with DriveWise. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Now, during Staples Print Big Sale, get $20 off your print purchase of $100 or more, $50 off your print purchase of $200 or more, and $100 off your print purchase of $300 or more. So the more you print at Staples, the more you save. To demonstrate, print at Staples, you save. But if you print at Staples, you save. See how that works? Staples Print Big Sale. Print more, save more. Up to $100. Ends 2/10. Visit staples.com/print for details.
It's time for the Marquette Minute on 94.5 ESPN. Join Shaka Smart, Jen Latta, and special guest Al Amadou on Thursday, February 8th from 6 to 7 p.m. for Marquette Thursdays at Motor Bar and Restaurant on the Harley-Davidson Museum campus.
Playing without Cam Jones due to an ankle injury, the 9th-ranked Golden Eagles blew a 20-point first-half lead but were able to hold off Villanova for an 85-80 road victory. Head coach Shaka Smart proud of how his team played down the stretch after the Wildcats came back to take the lead.
The only thing about being up 25 minutes into the game is you still have to play 35 minutes. And at times we kind of lost sight of that. Villanova took the aggressiveness advantage, but we took it back. And that was a phenomenal job by our guys in the last 12 minutes of the game.
Senior point guard Tyler Kolek finished with a career-high 32 points in the win. Marquette improved to 16-5 overall and 7-3 in Big East play. They're at Georgetown Saturday afternoon.
This has been your Marquette Minute on 94.5 ESPN. Motor Bar and Restaurant on the Harley-Davidson Museum campus is the home of Marquette Thursdays all season long. You're listening to Kyle Brust and Nortman, KBN, on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
I'm a puppet on a string, Tracy Island, time traveling diamond, could a sheep heartaches come to find you for in some velvet.
It is KBN here on ESPN Wisconsin, 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee, 100.5 ESPN Madison, 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam, and it is one of my favorite times of the week. It's a chance for me to be able to talk, and you as well, and everybody in, to be talked to and be joined by the guys from Rutledge and Hamilton. We don't always know who's going to be there, but we do know it's going to be somebody. So who is it correct that we have Rutledge and Strophy today? Is that accurate?
Good to be back on KBN on a Friday. I'll just say that much. I would just want to point out, if we do 2 weeks worth of KBN on Friday, I have now shown up more than Ben Brust and Brad Nortman combined.
That is accurate. Very accurate.
If it's only Fridays. Yeah, if it's only Fridays, Strofe is really doing. He's contributing more to Friday's KBN than the B and the N of KBN.
I appreciate Strophe's work ethic. You know what? Because if Strofe had a baby, I wouldn't question whether or not he was changing diapers. Now, maybe I'm regretting that.
No chance Brusty's changing diapers, right?
He's changing diapers.
I'm going to give him credit.
No.
Look, well, one, there's a lot of shame that you're going to feel as a man if your wife is the only one changing a diaper. It's not as bad as you think. Honestly, early on for babies, it's not that stinky.
This is baby mama.
Rutledge is the only father on the panel, unless either of you have any illegitimate children I'm not aware of. But
not that I'm aware of.
Nope.
Also, not
the
that I'm
mother
aware
of your
of.
child is taking care of the baby, and you're already kind of useless to begin with. You want to feel helpful in some point, so you'll change the diaper.
So if you were speaking to Brusty, what would your advice be?
My advice for Brust?
Yeah.
I would say basically remember that you don't matter anymore.
That's a humbling piece of advice.
Yeah.
It is. You are third in your life at a bare minimum going forward.
I hope Brust is paying attention and listening, or maybe he might be sleeping, or who knows, he might be playing video games, but I hope he's listening.
Real quick, so Homer said that when he had a child born in his household, he called the Marquette game that night. The kid was born at 11 a.m. He could call the game that night, and he's thinking how soft we are as men nowadays. Jim, how was it when your child came along? Did you take any days off? Did you take a week off?
No, I hosted the show with former Badgers Tarek Sala and Derek Engler. I missed that show because my oldest daughter, Rosie, was born during the show. She got a shout out during the show, and I missed. Now, I didn't miss a lot of times because we've evolved this company. Full disclosure, I think I had 48 hours of paternal leave.
48 hours?
That's it, huh?
We had 2 days of paternal leave. Mother's got. Wow. So now I was back to work somewhat earlier than my wife wanted me to be. But for both kids, I was there. And you're right. Homer's right. Like, you don't do a lot, but you got to be there for support. And the time with the baby matters. I mean, you want to embrace it yourself as well. So I think Homer's he's just old school.
You know what?
Very old school.
Jim Rutledge may have bad picks for sports teams or for the Bears being a sports team, but he has tremendous advice. And I say anybody and everybody should take the advice of that man.
I appreciate that. Can I ask you guys a non-sports question?
Sure, why not?
So I saw that Carl Weathers has passed.
Oh, yes. I didn't know who that was.
All right.
Really?
More iconic, maybe you know his roles. More iconic role, Apollo Creed, or what's his character from?
Well, I think you just answered your own question.
Chubbs Peterson. Chubbs Peterson. Well, I know it is for me. Or is it Chubbs from Happy Gilmore?
We actually have the poll up right now at KBN ESPN at ESPN Milwaukee on X/Twitter as well.
Ooh, I don't watch movies like that, so I've never seen the full Apollo movie, and I definitely never seen Happy Gilmore.
The Apollo movie. It's Rocky.
There you have it.
You're screwing it up with Creed, which is Michael B. Jordan, which is his illegitimate son. I also don't watch movies like that. Brad and Jimmy know this. I've never seen Star Wars. I've never seen Indiana Jones. I've never seen Harry Potter. But I've seen every Rocky.
They're not even in the same genre. Happy Gilmore and Rocky aren't in the same genre. Movies like what?
No, I'm just saying.
I'm just saying like iconic series. I haven't seen any of them except Rocky.
So according to KBN Nation, which role do you associate most with actor Carl Weathers? Apollo Creed, Rocky, 63%.
Wow.
Chubbs, Happy Gilmore, 37%.
So really quick, I thought when they said Carl Weathers, I said, no, Carl Winslow died. Not Carl Winslow. I thought
I'm pretty sure he's already dead.
Carl Winslow's alive.
Reginald V. Johnson is still with us.
Come on now, y'all killing my man's off.
I'm thinking of Uncle Phil is who I'm thinking of. I blend those two together in my mind. Yeah.
During Black History Month, we just gonna get these brothers confused.
For me, it is Chubbs. I mean, Chubbs Peterson, such an iconic role. I'll never forget that wooden hand, and you know he's. Yeah, every time I go golfing in Florida and there's an alligator right there, I just always think of Chubbs Peterson. So
where do you golf? Jeez,
in Florida,
there's alligators around.
In Florida, not around.
I lived in Florida and saw like 3 alligators in the 10 years I lived down there.
Really?
That's it?
You're like in some rough neighborhoods, man.
Yeah, man.
Rough neighborhoods because there's alligators there?
Just kidding.
I like adding that to the challenge.
I would say I get what you're saying, but the Apollo part, when you apply the fact that there's literally a whole other movie series broken off of Rocky about Apollo, like I think iconically it is probably the Apollo role, but I agree Chubbs is right there. So I'm not going to argue too much against it. But Apollo, like in the legacy of movies, there's 6 movies where his character is involved directly or as the father of Michael B. Jordan's character.
Yeah, that makes sense. I can't fault you for that. From a sports perspective, we were wrestling with this question earlier in the week, and would love to hear from you guys. What do you think would be more disappointing? If Jordan Love never wins a Super Bowl from here on out, I guess he never won one, but or if Giannis only wins one NBA championship, the one he already won, which one would be more disappointing?
I don't think it's close.
Well, I'll make a case. I know what you're going to go with. I would go with Giannis because it's more of a unicorn. To have an athlete like Giannis in Milwaukee, in the NBA, be so willing to stay and be a part of everything in Milwaukee, and in the NBA where it's very transient and you do very much go to wherever you want to go to play with your friends, to pull to Milwaukee, which is not a major city, is so unique. And I hate to say it, but sure the hell seems like the Packers are just going to crank out another quarterback in 15 years, so what does it matter to you?
Yeah, that's a fair point.
You guys are crazy. Trophy, what do you think?
Well, everybody on this panel knows how I overreact and tend to ride the wave with the Green Bay Packers, right? Like Green Bay born and raised. I love the fact that Jordan Love's the next guy. I'm very excited about his future. But I don't say this often. I fully agree with Jim Rutledge. It's Giannis, and it's not close, right? Like, Giannis is going to go down as maybe a top 15, top 10 NBA player of all time, regardless of how many titles he wins. It's going to play a role in where he ultimately ends up ranking. But as excited as I am about Jordan Love, I don't think I'm ready to say he's going to go down as one of the top 20, 15 greatest quarterbacks in NFL history. So the unicorn argument is the correct one. It's going to be Giannis, and the Doc Rivers era, by the way, not off to a very hot start.
All are insane. You are going to sit here and tell me, in Strophy, you would be okay with the Green Bay Packers not winning another Super Bowl until like 2040? Are you for real? We'll be old men sitting there on retirement and collecting Social Security if we have to wait that long, Strophy. Come on now.
Actually, I don't think I'd be collecting Social Security in 16 years, but neither here nor there. I'll only be 41. But
I don't think I would be.
But you are also operating under the assumption that Jordan Love will be the quarterback for the next 16 years. And excited as I am from what I saw this year, and as I think he will be a long-term solution, that is not a given. That assumes health. That assumes he doesn't fall off a cliff, which we've seen some really great first years in the NFL. That's not always followed up.
Well, if he didn't even fall off a cliff, if he just stays where he's at, which is good, that doesn't guarantee that the Packers would want him for more than like 5 or 6 seasons.
I mean, look what happened to Baker Mayfield. He won Rookie of the Year, was drafted first overall, and he's played for 4 teams in the last 3 years.
Don't you compare my man to Baker Mayfield like that.
Baker Mayfield outdueled him in December, but that's beside the point.
Strophy, what are you doing? You're a Packers fan. Dak, he's going to be better than Dak. He already proved that.
Kyle.
He proved that
he's better than Dak.
He proved that he has a higher ceiling than Dak. He beat Dak. He went head-to-head with Dak in Dak's house.
And Dak's thing has been disappointing in Dallas. The fact that he's never even gotten close to the Super Bowl.
But here's the thing. It's one of those things when you scout, like, you know all of Dak's warts. We don't know, like, what if Jordan just repeats this over and over again and they fall short? Like, then you would all of a sudden have the conversation of, like, well, maybe then he's Dak. Like, right now, Jordan's resume is not Dak. His ceiling could be higher, sure. But his resume is not even Dak. He hasn't had the opportunity to fail on a big stage as many times as Dak has gotten his team in the ability to fail on a big stage.
He's made it to almost bigger stages than Dak, and it only took 1 year. My boy's better.
That's bigger stages.
I guarantee you, call up Dallas, ask him what radio shows they were running when Dak Prescott had his rookie season and how they were anointing him into the Hall of Fame.
Oh, my gosh. What y'all got for today here on Rutledge and Hamilton without Hamilton?
We're going to ask if all the Packers free agents, what's the one that you got to keep?
Oh, hey, really quickly, before we get to that. So, you guys see the report about Chris Orr? I mean, it's not Chris Orr, about Chris Orr's brother, Zach Orr.
Zach Orr, NBC in Baltimore.
No, there was a report out there saying that he was that Chris Orr potentially could have been the first choice for him. How did we get scooped on that? What the heck? We work with the guy. Shouldn't we know?
If you, we kind of said that we knew.
Yeah, we knew
when we were doing our show.
Oh, well, you could have shared it with my
information.
What the hell? Yeah, come on. Now you got my phone
number. You work with the guy. Shoot him a freaking text message.
Yeah, but that's something that helps a little face-to-face. I definitely shot him a text message after I heard that, but I came in second.
I'll give you some insight. I literally, before the show, he was on the phone with Zach, and he's like, Zach's going to meet with LaFleur. And I'll say afterwards, LaFleur said, there's no way they're going to let you out of Baltimore. So that was like the insight that we have from that.
All right, good insight.
They have more good insight on Rutledge and Hamilton on ESPN Madison next. More KBN coming up here on ESPN Milwaukee, ESPN Beaver Dam. Keep it locked.
We've got some backups on southbound 41. We have an accident just south of Greenfield Avenue. Was in traffic. Now everything's off to the right, but backups are all the way back through the Zoo interchange, all the way up to Watertown Plank Road. So heads up with that. Westbound 94 slowing from 16th Street to Mitchell Boulevard. The eastbound side slowing from 68th Street all the way to 35th. And then on northbound 43 slowing from Fond du Lac Avenue up past Keefe. Southbound's going to be slow from about Fond du Lac Avenue down past the Marquette. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast tonight, partly cloudy skies, a low of 33. Tomorrow, a few morning clouds, then mostly sunny with a high of 42. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga, 94.5 ESPN.
Looking for a totally rad flavor adventure, brochachos? Look no further than Surfer Boy Pizza as seen in Stranger Things. Each mouthwatering variety contains rich tomato sauce, delicious mozzarella cheese, and a gnarly range of toppings. The crust is crispy on the outside and airy on the inside. You'll think it was hand-tossed by the Surfer Boy Pizza dudes themselves. Look for it in the freezer aisle at your local store and buckle up your taste buds with Surfer Boy Pizza.
ESPN Milwaukee's Jen Latta here to tell you about one of the best purchases I recently made, an infrared sauna from Good Health Saunas. It's an easy-to-install sauna that is great for a post-workout, travel, or long-day detoxification, and it has a rapid heat-up time. Using Good Health Saunas can also help reduce stress, improve circulation, and make your skin glow. Got an athlete in your family or just someone with an active lifestyle? Infrared saunas are perfect for muscle and tissue recovery as well. Learn more today at goodhealthsaunas.com, goodhealthsaunas.com.
Tune in to KBN every day at 2 o'clock. 94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI HD, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
Broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. This is Kyle Bruston Nortman, KBN, on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
It's the 414 hour at 4 on KBN.
All right, now that was your last chance for a while.
No, that was my final exam. I think I improved throughout the week. I felt a lot more confident. I stood up for that one.
We gotta explain yourself, Brad.
I'm just trying to get some feedback.
You gotta walk around. You don't need my feedback. If you feel good about it, then you should be good about it. You know how many exams I walked out of saying, "Ooh, I aced that one," and I got a D. But you know what? I felt good walking out. I didn't let it ruin my weekend because I didn't know I failed it or I got a D or I didn't do a great job on it. I felt good, and that's all that matters.
That doesn't help make me feel good at all.
No, you passed the test.
At least I passed.
No, you did good. You know,
it'll be back to you on Monday.
I grade you on a curve.
So you can make it easier on me.
Yeah, I mean, you ain't got that ski in you. You know what I'm saying? I got that ski in me.
I ski-eated earlier in the week,
You ski-eat it. You eat. See, this is what you did.
Ski-eat.
That was actually very good. That was very.
Came from.
We need to get the ski-eat drop, Chris. I know we have it over there at the Truth, but I definitely need that ski-eat drop. Good job.
I ski-eated earlier in the week. Don't tell me I'm not a ski-eater.
I'm sure you did ski earlier in the week, H, but something that didn't happen earlier in the week is a trade that happened yesterday. We alluded to it a little bit earlier today. The Milwaukee Brewers made waves and they made a splash as they traded their ace in the 2021, I believe, Cy Young Award winner in Corbin Burnes to the Baltimore Orioles for prospects D.L. Hall, Joey Ortiz in a competitive balance A draft pick. The Milwaukee Brewers have traded away their ace pitcher just 2.5 weeks, I believe, before spring training. And this sent Brewers fans into a swirl of emotions, not knowing whether they're happy, whether they're sad. What are we doing? Are we going to compete? First, it was Craig Counsell who left us. Now it was Corbin Burnes that we're getting rid of. Some people are saying, what are we doing? And one of the people that is saying, what are we doing, is Terrence Entosa. Boy, oh boy, that Terrence Entosa was upset. He was hot today, and we had to get Terrence Entosa in here to share his thoughts and speak for Brewers Nation. Terrence, how do you feel about this trade?
I just want to get this out of the way right away, fellas, and I want to be the first one to congratulate Corbin Burnes on his promotion to the major leagues. Big shout out to Corbin Burnes. He's finally getting his shot over with the Baltimore Orioles. He's graduating from quadruple A here in Milwaukee, and he has earned that in Baltimore to go for that World Series. Guys, listen.
Stop. Don't clap and applaud that.
What are we doing is more of a meta question, because we all, deep down, we know exactly what the Brewers are doing, and that's shedding payroll, the thing they do better than striking out. It's the only thing this Milwaukee Brewers team knows at its core right now, and that's shedding salary. Our manager makes too much money, boop, you're gone. Our one homegrown ace pitcher we've ever had in the last however many years making too much money, boop, you gone. Can we audit Mark Antanasio and see if he's making too much money? Because, boop, I'd like to get him gone. Goodness gracious. It's just, we know what's happening. They can't ever spend the big money on our own players because we want to keep this.
We can't afford. Terry, we can't afford. Here, this is what I'm not going to let you do. I'm not going to let you come on here on ESPN Milwaukee.
You're letting them do it to you, Kyle.
No, we're not going to come on KBN, and we're not going to do it a day after the Brewers did something to me that I think I should stand up. This is when you play the applause and the fireworks. Good job to the Milwaukee Brewers, Matt Arnold, on doing something good. Corbin Burns didn't want to be here 2 months longer. Corbin Burns was going to want all this money. We can't afford to pay him hundreds and hundreds of $1 million. We ain't got it like that here in Milwaukee.
And don't you think that this is just going to the Brewers' tried and true process where it's like we just got to get young, we got to be able to get them while they're cheap, and then we make our playoff runs?
Yeah, it's a tried and true process to sneak into the last wild card position and lose in 3 games and watch that team go all the way to the World Series. That's the only tried and true process we have as Brewers fans.
That is true.
Is watching the team beat us, go to the World Series. We don't have to, I don't want us to spend $1 billion on Corbin Burns, but what I want us to do
What does that Brewers fans want them to do?
I want them to just give me a little bit of hope that they're going to hang on to 1 or 2 players, and we have one right now in Christian Yelich, and we hung on to him, and that contract didn't work out all that great, so we can't do it anymore. But don't let them do this to you, Kyle. Don't let them fool you and say that we're a small market team and we can't afford people. No. We are a small market team, and our owner's too cheap, so we can't afford people. There's a big difference.
I think you speak for the fans, some fans, and I speak for other fans that really believe that I like this trade. If you don't want to be here, Craig Counsell didn't want to be here. You know what we did? We had a going away party for him. We put him in the dirt. We kicked him away. We said, don't you come back to this state of Wisconsin. He's not been making sure for the last 4 months. I've been driving up and down Whitefish Bay to make sure he ain't coming back around these parts. He ain't coming back to my high school, my city.
Right now, he's sitting in traffic. Get used to it, Craig.
Yep. He sure is.
Do you think Christian Yelich's contract makes them now more wary to give out bigger contracts?
Absolutely. I would be shocked if we ever see a contract the size of Christian Yelich's ever again. And we gave a contract to Jackson Churio, our best prospect, who's 19 years old. What are we doing? I understand it. What if he stinks? Then we're done. Then we got a 19-year-old who stinks making millions of dollars.
800-990-3776. The Brewers traded away their ace, and also the NL Cy Young Award winner in 2021. They traded him away yesterday for 2 prospects in the draft pick. How do you feel about that, KBN Nation? We want to hear from you. Do you feel like the Brewers are going to be in a constant cycle of never being able to win championships because they always trade away their talent? Or are you excited about the bright future that the Milwaukee Brewers have? Either you're going to be Terrence from Tulsa, or you're going to be like me. We're saying, you know what? He didn't want to be here 100%. Let him move on. And I trust in the process. I trust in Matt LaFleur. I trust in Goody. And I also trust in Matt Arnold. And I trust in Mark Antanasio.
What do you think they should have done if you're Matt Arnold?
I would have re-signed Corbin Burns. My voice is dying. The Brewers have killed my voice.
It's such a visceral response.
I'm telling
I understand
you, man,
that.
I was sick like a month ago, and this has just brought it right back to the forefront. They should have signed him a few years ago, and if not, I would have rather gone into the season with Corbin Burns and traded him at the deadline if things weren't working out, or if we had a chance at the World Series, just let him go at the end of the year and give us one more shot. We got a middle infielder who's a utility guy. How many of those do we need? Oh, I'm going to lose my voice again.
We have a lot of those guys, but I think we should be excited. This is a win for the Milwaukee Brewers. You're able to take a piece and take something and actually get something for it. And for me, I'm going to be optimistic, and I believe the Milwaukee Brewers are moving in the right direction. And I just called my shot a couple segments ago about calling the shot that we're going to get our dog back and PJ Tucker. I think in the next 5 years, the Milwaukee Brewers, yes, mark it right now, the Milwaukee Brewers in the next 5 years will win a World Series title.
Come on.
And today, what do you mean, come on? What do you mean? That's what's going to happen. The Milwaukee Brewers, this trade today is the first step of many steps in going on to win the World Series. William Diamonds, get him out of here. Bring me some prospects. Devin Williams, I love you, brother, but get him out of here. Bring me some prospects, and we are going to build a champion.
So you're saying, okay, so let's start at 2018, right? So the last 6 years. It's been a heck of a 6-year run. Right? Knocking on the door of the World Series. You think the next 6-year run is going to be better than the last?
Yes, I do think it is going to be better because we got more young prospects coming together. You know what Corbin Burns did in the playoffs for us?
Lost.
Diddly squat poo. Diddly squat poo. So he can go take his behind out to Baltimore and be diddly squat poo over there. And we got some other people. So I'm excited about the fact that we got a kid named Joey Ortiz. I like him. I don't know him, but I'm going to like him already. And DL, only DLs I know are DL Hughley. And I like DL Hughley. So give me DL Hall because I love people with the initials DL as a name.
I did see that Orioles fans had given him the nickname IL. Hall, so he might end up on the injured.
Come on now,
but I gotta say though,
why you want to bring all this negativity, Terrence from Tulsa?
I am all for the Brewers' prediction winning the World Series in 5 years. I 100% will
they
get
can
on board
do
with
it.
that. But you just have to tell me in which of the first 4 years from now they're going to fire Mark Antonassi going to sell a team because that's the only way it's going to happen.
Oh, stop it!
Wow. Only way
Stop it! Terrence from
only
Tulsa.
way.
Terrence from Tulsa, this is disappointing. Me and you used to see eye to eye. We gotta be on this train together. We can't sit here and turn on our team. We gotta support our team. Corbin had to go, so we let him go.
We have Craig Counsell. That's what we have as a fandom that we can all rally around. That guy stinks, and we never want to see him in Milwaukee again.
Would you take 1 year of whatever going all in looks like for the Milwaukee Brewers for potentially 8 years of stinking after that?
I might name my first child Cece. Of course I want to see them go all in and try to win a World Series. Cece Sabathia, that was one of the best runs we ever had, and we traded Matt Laporta, our best prospect of all time. And what did he do?
He sucked.
All right? So we can do it. You can trade top prospects, get talent, and go for runs. It's all right. It's okay, Brewers. You can try it once in a while. But no, all we get to do is trade our top talent for other teams' middling to mid-tier prospects. And then when we go for big talent, we have to trade our best prospects. It's the way it works. It's infuriating. Just like you said, I want to see him 1 or 2 years go all in. And we did it a little bit with Lorenzo Cain and Christian Yelich. And man, that was awesome. That team ruled. Mike Moustakas, that was so much fun. I want that back. We don't have that. And it feels like it's so far away.
It was fun, but it all ended the same. The cycle, right? We talk about today's Groundhog Day. Guess what? Same cycle. Lose in the playoffs.
I was going to say, like, the Wisconsin sports in general has been a Groundhog Day of sorts, right? Where you're kind of like good to very good. You make the playoffs, heartbreaking playoff loss, and you just keep on repeating the cycle. I will say, if there was one Groundhog Day cycle that I could break, is I've already seen a Packers Super Bowl. I've already seen now a Bucks. It would be the Milwaukee Brewers winning the World Series. That would be a Groundhog Day cycle that I would pick first and foremost if I could choose one.
Boy, oh boy, this is quite the day for Groundhogs. It's a perfect day for Groundhog Day because as Terrence Fertosa is upset because this is basically the cycle he sees. The Brewers have a great player that they have. They don't pay him. Then they trade him. This is
every time,
like clockwork.
Every time. I'll say this, though, guys. You know, I'm feeling the voice is out. I think that's a sign from the good man upstairs that I've yelled too much about the Brewers this offseason. It's probably good for me to calm down and end on some positivity. So
come on. I want to hear the positivity. Come on.
The best players on the Brewers last year were rookies. Let's just do it. Let's just go. Let's do it. All rookies.
Quadruple A.
Let's do it. We are the quadruple A Milwaukee Milkmen Brewers. Let's do it.
I love it. I love it. Terrence and Tulsa, thanks for joining us so much and bringing the heat and bringing the fire as always. I disagree with Terrence from Tulsa, but what about you? 800-990-3776. The Milwaukee Brewers traded their ace Corbin Burns. Are you as upset about this? Do you feel like the Brewers don't have much of a future because of the fact that they keep trading their pieces that they have? I feel good about it. We want to hear from you. Are you Terrence? Are you me? Or are you Brad who says, listen, this is what they do? 800-990-3776. We'll have more KBN coming up next.
This is Kyle Bruston Nortman, KBN.
You throw hands?
Do I throw hands?
With T.O.
Will I? I throw hands with Andre the Giant, man.
I love you, Lou. That's good. Lewis from the north side. The north side always knows.
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
We've got some backups on southbound 41. We have an accident just south of Greenfield Avenue. Was in traffic. Now everything's off to the right, but backups are all the way back through the Zoo interchange, all the way up to Watertown Plank Road. So heads up with that. Westbound 94 slowing from 16th Street to Mitchell Boulevard. The eastbound side slowing from 68th Street all the way to 35th. And then on northbound 43, slowing from Fond du Lac Avenue up past Keefe. Southbound's going to be slow from about Fond du Lac Avenue down past the Marquette. And checking the TMJ4 Storm King forecast tonight, partly cloudy skies, a low of 33. Tomorrow, a few morning clouds, then mostly sunny with a high of 42. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Badger football fans, Brad Nortman here, inviting you to the Big Red Rally, an evening full of fun, football, and food, hosted at the Italian Community Center in downtown Milwaukee on February 8th. Meet the Badgers' newest recruits and hear directly from head coach Luke Fickell. Tickets to the Big Red Rally can be purchased individually or in tables of 10, with special discounts for UW-Madison grads. Jump around downtown Milwaukee to the Big Red Rally on February 8th and be part of the tradition. Visit uwalumni.com/events for more information. I will see you there.
ESPN Milwaukee's Gabe Neitzel. I've spent a while telling you about Mentality because it works. Not just for me, though. Take it from fellow Mentality user Jason. He's got a new lease on life thanks to Mentality.
Process was easy. It really, truly was. And the individuals that work at Mentality, very helpful, very respectful. It was an easy out. You go in a week after, they give you the results right away, and once you find that you're able to do it, just that thought, the energy already picked up a little bit. Most of it could have been mentally wise, but knowing that, hey, I get to start this, it was incredible.
Learn more today at motigusa.com.
Don't put your life on hold to earn a degree. Lakeland University has a long history of making students' dreams come true. Since 1862, build a schedule that meets your needs with options for 7 and 12-week courses, evening classes, and the ability to join classes remotely. Lakeland University is Wisconsin's leader in evening and online education. They have a main campus in Sheboygan County and 6 centers throughout the whole state. Lakeland University. Affordable, quality, flexible. Find out your next steps at info.lakeland.edu.
Brewers win!
Get more from your live baseball experience with the 2024 Brewers Ticket Plan. On sale now. Don't miss more exclusive Brewers season seat holder rewards, like your very own batting practice session, more can't-miss action, and more access to the game you love. It's your ticket to being a VIP Brewers fan this season. Plus, you'll enjoy savings on ticket prices you can't get anywhere else. Learn more at brewers.com/ticket plans.
Racine Danish Kringles is a perfect Valentine's Day gift for that special someone with their heart-shaped Kringle. This tasty treat features pink icing in raspberry, chocolate silk, cherry, and pecan flavors. Go to Kringle.com or call 800-4DANISH to order.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because our home policies help protect your dreams and come with peace of mind. Save up to 25% by bundling home, auto, and life. American Family Insurance. Get a quote, find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Discounts may not apply to all coverages on an auto or home policy. Discounts do not apply to life insurance policies. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, American Family Life Insurance Company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel neglected or unloved? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
This is Kyle Bruston Nortman, KBN, on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Baby bet, ayy, couple racks, ayy, couple Grammys on him, couple blacks, ayy, that's a fact, ayy, throw it back, ayy, and this one is for the champion. Ain't lost since I began,
It is KBN here on ESPN Wisconsin. Bradley Nortman holding it down, the longtime NFL punter.
You know, you're like one of 2 that call me Bradley.
You and your mother? Me and your mother? Or?
Yeah, and my mom mostly calls me Brad still. It's Bradley only in like those moments where it's like, oh man.
I like interchanging it. Is that okay or no?
I'm all for, my official name is Bradley.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Like, I'm
your
all
government.
for it. Yeah.
I mean, so I'm calling you by your government name.
My government name. I appreciate
that. Bradley. Bradley sounds more professional.
It does. It sounds sophisticated, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Brad just sounds like a frat boy.
Yeah, it does. Is Brad like still a popular name amongst the children's nowadays?
I don't know if I know many young Brads.
Yeah, it seems a little like Bradley feels like a name that's probably going to resurface because it has the distinguished distinguishedness. I don't know. I don't know if that's a word, but it feels more distinguished than just Brad.
Do you think if and when Lexi and I ever get pregnant, we have a boy, should I name him Bradley Nortman Jr.?
That's up to you. I'm not a fan of the juniors. That puts a
You're
lot
not a fan of that?
That puts a lot of pressure on the kids. It really does. Like, think about LeBron James Jr. son. Like, come on now. Bronny goes by Bronny, but that's LeBron James Jr. And that's a lot of pressure to be the junior. It's one thing to just be a son. It's another thing to be a junior. I mean, you punted in the NFL. You played for the hometown state team of Wisconsin.
Let him be his own man.
Yeah, let him be his own man. But we talked about this. We had Terrence from Tulsa on just shortly ago. The Milwaukee Brewers traded Corbin Burns to the Baltimore Orioles. I just want to get your final thoughts on this trade.
Yeah, it didn't surprise me. When it happened, it struck me as like, of course, this is what the Brewers do. This is their process. You knew when the arbitration happened a couple of years ago, or was that last year?
Last year.
Yeah, last year when they were, they didn't settle on a number and the Brewers kind of gave him what he felt was an insulting number for arbitration, and it was closer to the Brewers number than his. And there was muddied water that would never be recovered, right? So you knew that Corbin Burns' time in the Milwaukee was limited. And there's no doubt that the Brewers do this. Look at Josh Hader. Look at, all the guys that they do away with. But to me, I wasn't surprised with Corbin Burns specifically of getting talent. This is just the Brewers' only way to compete under the current owner and the current structure is that you just cannot pay top dollar to almost anyone. And if you do, you have to be incredibly, incredibly specific and focus on who that is. What you have to do is just accumulate as much young talent as you can. Hope some, if not most of them, pop, and you have them on cheap contracts before they take it to free agency or demand higher. And, this young Brewers core might be able to do that, but that's just the system. And
World Series in 5 years. World Series in 5 years. Great trade. That's all I got to say. World Series in 5 years. So you heard what we had to say about this. Say it with me, Brad. World Series in 5 years. The Milwaukee Brewers will break through and all will be forgiven. So we'll be okay here. But you know what? I loved your opinion on that, kind of. I want to hear your opinion on KBN Academy.
In radio, our goal's pretty simple.
Just so you know, we really suck.
Have an A show or an F show.
Hey, I'll decide who sucks around here.
The same goes for topics in this next segment. This is the KBN Academy.
Those that can't do, teach.
It is KBN Academy here on KBN on ESPN Wisconsin. And this is where we have some questions that we go through that Chris sets it up and we knock them out the park and give our thoughts on whether we give an A or F to some of these questions. Chris, what do you have for us today?
All right, let's get started here on KBN Academy. The 2024 Paris Olympic Games will feature mass participation events allowing everyday people to compete on the same course as its Olympic athletes. A or F, you hope they televise some of these events.
Okay, when Lexi and I visited Paris this last December, first
cool.
of all, yes, very cool. There was a ton of different Paris Olympic game stuff everywhere already. And we went to Versailles, where this is going to be located, the big palace and courtyard and all that kind of stuff. And they were already digging it up and retrofitting it for all these different things. And all I think was like, man, this is so darn cool. The fact that you're taking this historic thing and making an event out of it. The fact that everyday people they're inviting to come participate in these events, I absolutely hope they televise it. That's a strong A, an A+ for me, because you know why? One, it's entertaining. It's entertaining to see all these, dreamers out there that think that they can do what the Olympians do. I think it would be utterly hilarious to see some of the fails. And number two, when the actual Olympic athletes do it, you're going to have much more appreciation for how hard it actually is, because you can see what can actually compare to regular old Joe to these finely tuned Olympic athletes. You're going to say, oh, wow, to what the Olympic athletes can do compared to that.
Yeah, so I guess I'm confused. They're competing against everyday people. They're not competing against everyday, like the real athletes.
Yeah. I think they're just saying, like, hey, if you want to come do the high jump.
Yeah, your average Joe is just taking part in the event that an Olympic athlete would take part in.
Yeah, and so you
kind of like try it on their own.
So it's kind of like I can go to a high school and do the same thing?
No, but this is like on an Olympic course and it's being televised. In this situation, you're saying if you want it televised, and you can see how bad some person will do the high jump.
Yeah, there's a big difference, Kyle, between going to do the high jump at some high school, some podunk high school, and going to the Olympic Games and doing the high jump there, while the actual athlete from the Olympics.
I mean, my 60-plus-year-old mom would be able to participate in this. Why? Who cares?
That'd be so entertaining. Imagine someone trying to do the pole vault.
No, I don't find people potentially harming themselves and getting injured. This sounds like a terrible idea. This sounds like somebody's going to get hurt. It really does.
Funny to me.
That sounds great to me.
I'm glad that you guys are that sick where people getting hurt, pulling hammies, and maybe having poles go places they shouldn't go is hilarious to you guys.
You know why I like this, though? Because all throughout, it's just like we talked about earlier in the show a couple days ago, everybody thinks they can go out there and punt. Everybody thinks they can complete that slant pass across the middle. There's all these like armchair fans that think I could do what these guys do.
I can run on a track. Yeah, I can run in a lap.
No respect for the actual athlete.
I can literally
I'd like to put them money where their mouth is.
I can literally do a high jump. I can literally jump in some sand and do the long jump. I can run 100 meters. Like I can do all that. I can't do it very well, but I can do it.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's the whole point. You'd look pathetic.
It's just I wouldn't look pathetic doing it. I would look like a normal person jumping. I wouldn't look like a superior athlete that's been training their entire life doing it.
Yeah, then imagine watching that, and then a week later, the real athlete's doing it. You'd say, "Oh my goodness, this is so much more enjoyable."
Give me 90 Day Fiance. This is the F. Give me my 90 Day Fiance. That's the only trash TV I want to watch.
Man.
What's next, Chris?
All right, moving on. A survey of 5,000 Americans conducted by Herbalife split evenly by state asked respondents about the average quality of their sleep, how many high-quality nights of sleep they receive in a week, and the number of hours they average per night. Averaging those numbers out found the California to have the best sleep, followed by South Carolina, New York, Maryland, and New Jersey tied for 4th, and North Carolina 5th. A or F, you watch TV or play on your phone before you go to bed.
That's an A for me. I know that they say as part of your quote, like sleep hygiene, that you should, have no phones, no TV watching, all they make your bedroom for sleeping alone, not watching TV and whatnot. I don't abide by that. It's too enjoyable. Nowadays, I'm not watching 90 Day Fiance, but whenever I get into a show and do a movie, it just feels so good to go in the bedroom, get all snuggled up, put it on the TV. I'm not going to lie, too. Lexi and I have those motorized frames that can, move our head up or whatever, So,
big money. I don't even know what you're talking about, but it sounds like something I can't afford. This is an expensive conversation.
A bed frame that, kind of tilts you up, and then can tilt you back down.
I've seen commercials.
Oh, yeah. So we have those.
Can't afford it.
Man.
Cool. Tempur-Pedic, or that the sleep number bed? Is that what it is?
Tempur-Pedic, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Cool. And they're so great. So, yeah, we maybe go in a little bit earlier, even just to watch in the bed. So, yeah, put me down for a TV watcher in bed. Darn it, if it's bad for my sleep, I don't care.
The greatest thing that happened to me is that my girlfriend introduced me to something called not having a TV in your bedroom. Because I grew up with a TV in my bedroom, still have a TV in my bedroom now. And let me tell you, I love absolutely watching TV and being on my phone when I go to bed. The only issue is if I don't set the timer, I will dream about whatever's happening on that TV. It messes with my head. So this is something that I 100% do that I don't need to do. But whenever I'm with her, it's perfect. It's like I'm in a whole nother world where I get to calm myself down. I don't have to worry about, all these things causing my senses or sensory, whatever it is, to be able to be active. I love the fact that I can just go to sleep whenever I'm with her.
Wait, do you leave the TV on when you go to sleep? Normally, like by yourself?
Yeah. You sleep in the dark?
Yeah.
So wait a minute. People who go to bed with a TV in their room, you turn the TV off and you put your phone away and you have complete darkness?
Yes.
Yeah, there's never a day that I've been at my home where my TV was not on when I went to sleep.
Oh my gosh, I've never even heard of that.
What do you mean never heard?
So you wake up in the morning and your TV's still on?
No, I typically have it on a timer. Well, I know when it's time for me to go to bed, I'll put it on like a 30-minute or hour timer. So when I fall asleep, the TV's usually on. But you remember the...
Yeah, like white noise.
That noise. I used to turn the channel to that channel back in the day and fall asleep to that noise.
But would you ever fall asleep to Sports Center?
Oh, absolutely. I would dream about sports because I would fall asleep with sports. It's a real thing of the TV being in your head and the stuff that you hear on TV turning into your dreams.
Man, I can't imagine falling asleep to having all this action going on in the background on the TV. It doesn't distract you? It doesn't make your mind start racing?
No, I grew up in Milwaukee, baby. It's sirens and all types of stuff going on. It felt weird when I used to go visit my girl out in the middle of nowhere and just hear crickets. I'm like, what in the hell is this?
I'm going to be honest. I'm a pretty high-maintenance sleeper. I need it cold. I need it dark. I need it quiet.
Yeah, that's too much. We wouldn't work out.
I don't think we would.
I'm glad
okay
you
with
found.
it,
I'm
but-
glad you found the one because it ain't me.
Yeah, that's true. That's a deal breaker.
Chris, what's the next one we got?
All right, let's shoot for one more here for KBN and Kim because I like this one. The San Antonio Zoo is celebrating the return of their Cry Me a Cockroach fundraiser, where you can symbolically name a roach after your ex. It will be fed to a zoo animal for $10. Those not into bugs can choose a vegetable for $5 or a rodent for $25 instead. You can also upgrade to a $150 package, which includes a personalized video message to the recipient, your ex, showing their cockroach, rodent, or vegetable being devoured by an animal. A or F, you'd pay money to do this.
Wow, this is pretty shocking. I'm gonna go with an F. I would not pay money to do this. This is whoever invented this in the San Antonio Zoo, I think is really going through something right now. Was really experiencing some heartbreak and just needed to have an outlet. I wouldn't be surprised if this was semi-popular.
Yeah, apparently they had 800 respondents last year, and they're expecting even more this year.
That's a lot. That's actually a pretty brilliant zoo fundraiser, if I'm not going to lie. This isn't my style, though, as far as how I would deal with an ex. I don't need there to be any specific death involved with it. So even if it is just zoo animals, but that are going to be eaten anyway, especially a cockroach. But yeah, that's a little too far for me.
Yeah, here's the thing. Milwaukee County Zoo, call up San Antonio because they are on to something. I bet you the San Antonio Zoo definitely had, what is it called? A groundhog for Groundhog's Day. And so I love this idea. This is an A. This is wonderful.
Would you pay for it?
Oh, in my spiteful days, $25 to send a rodent. What I would do is I would send it on their birthday. I would send it on their birthday. I would have them think that old Kyle is coming back in their life, and sending you a picture of a dead rodent, baby. Just like this relationship is over. You lost me. Here's a dead rodent to remind you of what you lost. The best thing in your life. $25. That sounds like a great investment.
That is utterly savage.
But I'm past all that now. But I for sure would pay the $25 for the rodent. That would be hilarious.
I guess it would be cathartic in some way, healing.
Yeah, cathartic, lethargic, cathartic. I don't.
Yeah, different words, but lethargic means like slow and cathartic means like healing.
Oh, interesting. No, it wouldn't be healing. It'd just be me being happy. Me being happy just to get the text message from somebody say, "Why the heck would you do something like that?"
Would you post it on social media?
No, because then people would know. I didn't do that. What do I look like doing something like that? Huh? Come on now. Y'all know I'm better than that.
Yeah.
Playing with their minds. Well, that is KBN Academy here. And next, we got to go pole position. Pole position. We got to go pole position here. We got to go NASCAR style. We got pole position coming up next, presented by Great Wakes Dragaway.
You're listening to Kyle Brust and Nortman, KBN.
Craig Counsell bobblehead that was given away, and we, just did a nice, soliloquy. Is that the right word?
Yeah, like a montage.
Like a Virgil.
Vigil?
Vigil. A vigil. We did a vigil.
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Backups continue westbound on 94, leaving the 20th Street area all the way past Mitchell Boulevard. Eastbound side, you're seeing backups from about 68th Street all the way through to about 35th. Northbound 43, a heavy ride from Fond du Lac Avenue to Keith. The southbound side's hitting the brakes right about at North Avenue, and that stretches all the way down through the Marquette. We've also got some delays on 894 westbound heading out towards Loomis. That is going to be slowing you down because of that construction right at the Loomis area. Traffic is brought to you by the Neal Group. They know how to minimize your taxes to keep more money in your pocket. Visit nealgroup.net. That's NEAL group.net. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast tonight, partly cloudy, patchy fog with a low of 33. Tomorrow, morning fog possible, then mostly sunny and mild with a high of 42. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
I had a really strange experience today.
Strange how?
A man walked into the store who was only about 2.5 feet tall.
What?
And he was carrying a bow and arrows.
Did he sort of have a baby face?
Yes. How did you know?
Sarah, that was Cupid.
Oh!
Did he give us a thumbs up?
Yes, 3 times.
So tell us, what are the Cupid-approved gifts for Valentine's 2024?
He loved our diamond stud earrings starting at $198.
We have 186 different styles and sizes.
And we have more than 1,400 pair in stock.
And Cupid loved our $98 diamond pendant.
It looks like it's worth a lot more.
And every purchase of $298 or more includes a fabulous free travel case to safely transport all of your jewelry.
But mostly, he loved the 4-carat total weight wow diamond engagement ring for less than $4,000.
Welcome to Kessler's for Valentine's Day.
Cupid approved.
Find the Kesslers nearest you at KesslersDiamonds.com.
Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Alex Strofe.
This Badger Minute brought to you by UW Credit Union. For over 90 years, UW Credit Union has helped Wisconsinites achieve their financial goals at every stage of life, offering great rates for greater possibilities. Join today at uwcu.org. The reigning national champion and second nationally ranked Wisconsin women's hockey team have won 9 games in a row, entering this weekend's 2-game homestand against St. Cloud State. Head coach Mark Johnson earlier this week says he likes where his team's at.
Now we're in position, as I told the team after practice today, we have 6 out of our last 8 at home. We're in good position, but we still have to continue to do what we've been doing the last month.
Number 2, Wisconsin, St. Cloud State, 3 o'clock Saturday, 4 o'clock Sunday puck drop at LeBon Arena.
Get 0% interest for up to 3 years, or get no money down, no interest, and no payments for up to 18 months at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Visit PellaWI.com.
Are you ready for the winter destination adventure? Look no further than Lutsen Mountains, where the magic of the Northwoods meets the thrill of the slopes. With over 1,000 acres of skiable terrain, Lutsen Mountains offers endless opportunities for fun, from the gentle slopes for beginners to heart-pounding off-piste runs for the experts. Enjoy breathtaking views of Lake Superior as you soar in our chairlifts, including the brand-new Raptor Express six-pack, and savor the cozy warmth of their slopeside condos at Eagle Ridge. Lutsen Mountains, celebrating 75 years in the legendary North. Visit Lutsen.com and book your stay now.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tauscher here, and if you're like me, you're probably budgeting out the rest of your 2024. Well, now's the time to set preferred dates for booking Johnson & Sons Paving. Whether it's asphalt or concrete, they set the standard for your needs. Maybe it's patching now, but a full repaving later. Talk with a Johnson & Sons project manager and set yourself up with a 5-year game plan. Booking work now gives you all the time needed to get the right paperwork in place. Get started now at johnsonsonspaving.com.
You're listening to Kyle Brust and Nortman, KBN, on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Don't you hate when on the computers it asks you to reboot your computer?
Oh man.
I think I've been pushing it. Remind me in 60 minutes. I think I've been doing that for a week. Maybe I need to reboot.
I think so. The thing is, I don't know how often it should be doing this. I feel like it asks me like once every 3 weeks. There can't be that many software updates.
Hey, we got to protect ourselves around here.
Sure
I guess
do.
at Good Karma Brands. But I just did a remind me later, and I'm just like, man, I need to just go ahead and let them do this reboot at some point. But I'm always doing something.
You're a working man, Kyle. I mean, it doesn't slow down.
No,
money never sleeps, right?
Oh, well, money does sleep because I do get my sleep. I may not have a sleep number, Tempur-Pedic, whatever you got. I just got a regular old box spring mattress.
At least you can prop up some pillows behind you. And
That's what I do. When I get money like you, when I grow up to be rich and famous and all that like you, and maybe make the NFL or my kids do, I'm gonna make sure they buy me a Tempur-Pedic bed.
You should have them do it.
I'm actually gonna have them do it.
There's a mode that you press that's zero gravity and just like puts you as if you're floating. Woo! It's good.
This man basically spent what he could buy on he put a car on a dang bed. I see. We got pole position next.
Everyone's got their opinions, but we just happen to think some are better than others. Let's hit the polls. This is Pole Position. Pole Position on Kyle Brust and Nortman is presented by Great Lakes Dragway, a 1/4-mile long drag strip, plus a drift pad. Even drive your own car on the track. Find full event schedule and ticket information at GreatLakesDragway.com.
All right, here for Pole Position, brought to you by Great Lakes Dragway. Chris, what do we got here for Pole Position?
Let's start off with our good friends Jen, Gabe, and Chewy from the morning 7 to 9 across ESPN Milwaukee. Have the Milwaukee Brewers underperformed or overperformed the past 4 seasons? overperformed 55%, underperformed 45%.
Now, this is so interesting how split this is. I'm under the camp that the Brewers have overperformed, just given their payroll, given the challenges that they have. The fact that they went to the playoffs as often as they did. Now, they didn't make a splash in the playoffs, but they've had good seasons. I remember the seasons in the 90s and the early 2000s where the Brewers were trash, and it was decades between playoff runs. So put me in the camp of overperformed, because I just love seeing my Brewers do well in the regular season. One of these days, they will pop and they will make it.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Brewers have overperformed. I truly do. I mean, last year, nobody really expected the Brewers to be as good as they were. And voila, what did they have? They were successful. I truly believe the Brewers have changed, and they're going to continue to overperform. And then what's going to happen? They're going to perform and win a World Series. In how many years?
Within the next 5 years.
Within the next 5 years, that World Series trophy will be hoisted up here at AmFam Field. And I'm going to celebrate. I'm going to say I told you so.
I hope you do.
Yeah, I know I will. I put it in the air, put it in existence. I'm telling y'all this right now.
Your confidence level as a fan is something I envy, Kyle.
Jump on the bandwagon, baby. Chris, what's next?
Let's go to Wildy and Tausch, 9 in the noon across ESPN Wisconsin weekdays. In which season is the best to have a birthday if you live in Wisconsin? If you live in the state of Wisconsin? Winter 6%, spring 13%, summer 52%, or fall 29%.
You know, this is a tough one. And I might have a little...
What do you mean it's tough?
Yeah, it's tough. I'm between one of two options, summer and fall, of course. Might be a little bit,
you're biased.
What's the right word? Biased, yeah.
You are biased.
Usually I'm not the one. I'm
not the one that I don't know what the words are. But look here. Look how the tables have turned and turns tables.
And I'm thankful I've got a smart co-host like you, Kyle, that can help me when my mind just stops working. I'm a little bit biased because I'm a September birthday. Mid-September, so it's kind of early
You're
fall.
a Virgo.
Yeah, I'm a Virgo. I'm going to go with fall. I love where my birthday is. It's early fall. It's football season. The weather's still warm, but a little bit of crisp in the air. Even growing up, I remember I could always celebrate my birthday with like a party at school. And, I just being celebrate like that. That was awesome. I love a fall birthday. Summer's close, but I would not trade my birthday for anything.
Stop it. Let me tell you this right now. The best is obviously it's spring to me, and I have a spring birthday.
Spring?
I have a listen. Let me just hear me out.
Sucks.
No,
my birthday's in spring too. It's in April and it rains every day. During my birthday. So.
Well, hear me out now. It's summer. It's spring, summer. So for me, my birthday is in June, and so the reason why mine is the best is because of the fact that it's almost summertime. But what you hit on. My birthday is also still during the school year, but you know what it meant? It meant the school year is over, baby. We only got a couple days left. This is the most fun time. Ain't nobody doing nothing in school right now. And then on top of that, all your friends get to celebrate. And then the school year is about to be over a week from now, so y'all get to party some more. Oh, I threw the biggest K-Wall birthday bash our senior year after I graduated, right after my birthday. There were people trying to come to my party, come to my house when my parents were out of town to enjoy the B.O.B. Kyle Wallace birthday bash. It was a great time. You know it was a great time because it was almost the summertime. The sun was shining. It was a great time because the end of the year was there and everybody was happy. In September, you know what everybody's doing? They're all upset because now they're back at school.
I mean, that's true. That's true. Wait, hold on a second. When's your birthday? June? Early June?
Early June.
Early June. Do you consider that the spring?
June. I consider that summer.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. So I consider
I think Memorial Day kicks off summer.
I consider it the summer, and I always said I'm a summer birthday. But
so why did you choose summer?
Because technically my birthday's in the spring. I think summer, like I said, I got the perfect one because the school year typically ends before the summer starts. Because the summer doesn't officially start. The summer solstice is June 21st, and so that's when the summer actually officially begins. So I have a late spring birthday, and it's a perfect position because you're in June. You're at the end of the school year. Everybody's excited. Everybody's ready to turn up. Everybody's ready to party. It was a good time, and so late spring, early summer, best time to have a birthday.
Okay, I can buy that argument.
Yeah, it's a lot better in the fall.
No, still not. But
to Chris's point, having a birthday in April is no fun.
Early spring is tough.
Yeah, it's a waste.
Late spring.
Yeah, late spring is fantastic. What we got next, Chris?
Let's move on to Rutledge and Hamilton, 4 to 6 across ESPN Madison weekdays. After watching Sunday's championship game, do you think the Packers were one of the 4 best teams in the NFL this season? Yes, 62%. No, 38%.
I'm going to go with no. I don't think they were. I think I know they beat the Chiefs, but I know they split with the Lions. I just think the way the Chiefs are playing right now, and I think Baltimore stands for themselves as a great team, top 4 team. The way the Chiefs are playing right now also deserve to be a top 4 team. I think the 49ers are a top 4 team. The only one that I would think about bumping out of there is the Detroit Lions, to maybe have the Packers be the top 4. But the Detroit Lions are playing good football too. I mean, they were up 17 points on the 49ers, so they deserve to go toe-to-toe with them. I think the Packers are legitimately the 5th best team in the NFL. Not quite top 4 this year. That'll change next year, though.
5th best. I like that. You know what I like even more is I love Packer Nation. I love all our fans, our listeners, because you know what? They believe in the Pack. I don't think my Packers were a top 4 team. We beat the Lions. We beat the Chiefs. We went toe-to-toe with the 49ers, but at the end of the day, we were in the place that we deserve to be in, and that is 5th place. But for me, we have one of the brightest futures for any team in the NFL, and so I'm excited about the future. We may not be top 4 this year, but this wasn't the goal this year. But next year, that's when we want to be number 1. We coming for that number 1 spot, like Ludacris said.
Let's go to the Homer Hour next, which you can hear 5 to 6 across ESPN Milwaukee, ESPN Beaver Dam weekdays. Packers were ranked 10th defensively in the NFL in points given up last season. Will they be better or worse in that category in 2024? Better 62%, worse 38%.
You know, this is interesting because that's actually a pretty high bar for the new defensive coordinator, Jeff Hafley, to eclipse top 10 or top 10 defense in points scored. I'm going to go with better, but not by much. I think it's going to be a challenge. I do think the new system, the new scheme, using these players, they're going to continue to draft on defense. I think they will be 9th or 10th. I think they're going to be the same thing next year. Some of the other stats are going to be better, though. More turnovers, better yards per game, better rush yards per game, things like that.
Yeah, I think they'll be better. If you look at their schedule for next season, they don't have cupcakes, but they got some teams that are going to struggle offensively next season. So I actually think they'll be better. They'll be better than what they were in top 10. They'll still be top 10, but they'll be higher ranked than 10. So I think that the Green Bay Packers will be better defensively with our boy Hafley in the fold. And that was pole position, right, Chris? Any more? Or are we good?
We can do one more.
Okay, I'll take one more.
Jen gave and Chewy. More ridiculous Chewy claim from earlier in the week. Travis Kelce isn't a great athlete. Or the Sistine Chapel looks fake and is overrated. The Kelce thing, 39%. The Sistine Chapel thing, 61%.
Look, Chewy, come on, man. Like, I can maybe buy the fact that Travis Kelce isn't a great athlete. I think he is, but you could argue to me that, like, you know, whatever your opinion is on this. The 16 Chapel looks fake and overrated. That is an absurd opinion. That is more ridiculous. I've never seen it in person, I will admit, but the whole idea of painting what Michelangelo painted on a roof of a church, it's just mind-blowing. It's grand, it's unbelievable. I think he shares that opinion legitimately alone of anybody else in the whole wide world.
I mean, both the opinions suck. I mean, if he thinks Travis Kelce isn't that a great athlete, what the hell was he? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Is a great response.
No, I mean for real. I mean, I love Chewy. I mean, I grew up with literally Chewy was on a picture on my wall with other Packers greats growing up as a kid.
I have a Chewy autographed football.
And so I thought he was a pretty good football player, pretty decent athlete, but I guess he must have been a trash athlete if he thinks Travis Kelce ain't a great athlete. So yeah, and the chapel is definitely, it looks fake. I mean, it does look fake. It's ridiculous that thing was made centuries ago.
That goes to show how great it is though, isn't it? The fact that it looks fake, that just goes to show how incredible it is.
It does. But I mean, honestly, his claim of Travis Kelce being a great athlete or not being a great athlete, that's got me. That's a complete joke. Travis Kelce is one of the greatest tight ends of all time. Matter of fact, I think he has the most receptions in playoff history. Stop it.
I think he owns several records, including that one he just broke from Jerry Rice. Anytime you're breaking a Jerry Rice record, you're great.
Too many concussions. 800-990-3776. That was pole position presented by Great Wakes Dragaway. We're going to wrap up KBN coming up next. Keep it locked here on ESPN Wisconsin.
This is Kyle Bruston Nortman.
So they are lucky. Those other teams, whether it's Kentucky or whether it's Oregon or was it TCU?
That was TCU.
TCU, they're lucky I didn't play in that game. You got upset by a bad team. TCU.
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com. The best source for every piece of NFL news you need to know.
I cannot imagine that there's any way that he missed the game because he's unhappy that the game was on turf. I think that's preposterous to me.
ESPN NFL insider Adam Schefter is on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy every Wednesday morning at 7:30.
I thought they looked great. I got to be honest, I think that's what I kind of expected from the Packers.
Presented by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference. Also sponsored by Construction Business Group and Island Resort and Casino.
Hey, it's Kyle Walsh for the Bath Authority, and the Bath Authority provides the highest quality bathroom remodeling products along with a world-class customer experience. Walk-in tubs, replacement showers, tub-to-shower conversions, and more. Every unit is custom built. Elevate your bathroom to a new level of luxury, style, and safety. Schedule your free in-home estimate today and get $1,000 off a new shower or bath, plus 36 months of interest-free financing. TheBathAuthority.com, a better bath awaits.
This is ESPN Wisconsin's Brad Nortman, here to tell you about my favorite go-to drink. That's Carbless. Carbless is a ready-to-drink, handcrafted vodka and tequila cocktail. Even better, it's 0 carbs, 0 sugar, 0 gluten, and just 100 calories. And listen to this, less carbonation. This leads to less bloat. I can indulge in something delicious without having that health guilt. Carbless is crafted right here in Wisconsin. It has a flavor for everyone, from black raspberry to cranberry, pineapple and lemon, and my favorite, margarita. Find Carbless online and at a retailer near you. This is more.
Wisconsin is still cattle country, and that's why Bunzel's chose to stay close to home to hand select the finest beef. Quality goes into everything they do, from Bunzel's expansive array of meats, homemade specialty sausages, and their award-winning beef jerky. It just isn't a proper holiday meal without Bunzel's top quality cuts on the dinner table. Tasting is believing. Bunzels.com.
You want to feel important. You want to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things. You want to feel like you belong. We know. We felt that way too. And that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers. We are normal people just like you. And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hey, it's Jason Wilding for Associated Bank. Here in Wisconsin, we love our sports year-round, right down to the Packers games in the Lambeau snow. If you want to show your love for the green and gold every day, you got it with Associated Bank's exclusive Packers checking account. A one-of-a-kind debit card, a 10% discount at the Packers Pro Shop, plus everything you'll score as an Associated Bank customer. Best of all, you'll get a banking partner based right here in the Midwest. Visit AssociatedBank.com/Packers to get started today. You've got this with Associated Bank. Member FDIC.
It's time for the Ortho ASAP Minute from Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin.
I'm joined by Dr. Rick Papandrea. What's the process when deciding if someone needs surgery or not?
The surgeons here are just that. We are surgeons, but all orthopedic surgeons evaluate a patient and attempt to get them better without surgery. And then we have other non-surgeons here as well. Everybody is coordinated to get people better. And if we can do that without surgery, great. It's typically the best way to get somebody better. But there are just certain injuries that won't get better on their own. They fail to get better without surgery, or they're clearly such that they need surgery.
Does someone's personal interest and feelings play into medical decisions?
We have to look at the patient and decide what's best for them. It's always good to ask the doctor, what would you do? But I always turn that back around and say, well, I'm not you. Let's look at what you need, because some patients may have the exact same sort of needs that I have, but what I need or what I think will work isn't always the best thing for the patient given their specifics.
The Ortho ASAP Minute is sponsored by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference.
This is Kyle Bruston Nortman on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Tell me.
Come on, turn that mic on, Brad. I hear you.
Get down on it.
Come on.
Get down on it. I was singing it.
You were.
I was. I just trying to keep it all subtle.
Come on. How you gonna do it if you really don't wanna dance? By standing on the wall. Get your back up off the wall. Tell me. It's a great song, isn't it?
So good.
Yes. But listen, if you've been cold in your home, do not suffer through one more cold and drafty winter in your home. Call my guys at Universal Windows Direct. Their super spacer technology helps keep the edge of the glass warmer, holds the window sill longer, and makes the window last up to 5 times longer. Yes, 5 times longer than other Windows systems. That's just basically, that'll last the same amount of time that the Packers have had a great quarterback. You had Aaron Rodgers, you had Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, now Jordan Love. You'll have the same window throughout the entirety of that time. So, Universal Window also backs it up with a true lifetime warranty for as long as you own your home and 30 years to the next home owner. Call Universal Windows Direct right now at 414-410-2000 and they'll upgrade your new windows to a triple pane glass window for free. That's 3 layers of glass between you and the cold outside. Again, that is calling 414-410-2000 to schedule your free home estimate today. For every 2 windows you buy, you get the next 2 free plus a free upgrade to triple pane glass, and they'll double your energy tax credit. Restrictions do apply. Tell them I told you to call. And get an additional $250 off your next project for the last windows you'll ever need, and an additional $250 off your project. Go to universalwindowsdirect.com. That's universalwindowsdirect.com, and like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows. It is KBN here on ESPN Wisconsin. Brad is bobbing his head. I'm dancing. I'm jamming. But Brad, so we're here at the 3rd Street Market Hall here in downtown Milwaukee, and we get to see a lot of people come in and eat. And while we were having that last segment, I saw this hat in front of me. Look directly in front of you, and you see that hat that's on that person's head in front of you?
I sure do.
And so when I saw it, what does it say?
It says sexy.
It says sexy, but from my angle, it looks like there is no Y. And I thought to myself, I know good and well that ain't nobody walking around here with a hat that says that.
That would be, I mean, sexy is already a pretty strong statement.
I mean,
but if you took away the Y, that would be even stronger.
I mean, can you imagine wearing anything that would, if you say sexy or anything good looking, like that is a lot of pressure to have that type of thing on, because you got to match it. Because if you don't match what your clothes say, if you ain't sexy in something that says sexy, if you ain't handsome in something that says handsome, if your smile ain't good like the Joe Boxer smile and you wearing a Joe Boxer shirt and it says smile, that's a lot of pressure, man.
Let's fucking go.
So you're saying there's a lot of risk involved with
there is a lot of risk because there's judgment. Because right now, this is what you did. I know you did it. You saw sexy, and then you looked at the woman who has the sexy hat on, and you probably judged it.
Tried to evaluate.
You tried to evaluate whether or not, and I'm just saying, you're a happily married man, but I'm just saying, naturally, we see people, we see human beings, and I'm sure you read sexy, and like me, I said, does the hat match the person?
Whenever you wear a piece of item that makes a statement, there's always a little bit of a risk to it.
Yeah.
I remember I had a shirt. I forget it was like middle school or
we're
high
going
school.
way back here.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. I haven't worn it in a long time. And it was like, you remember like Hollister and Abercrombie and those, those stores? That was like popular back in the day, right? They might be still popular now. Who knows?
New Kids on the Block. I forgot what it was.
New Kids on the Block had a bunch of hits. Chinese food makes me sick.
Yeah, I know the inappropriate version.
Oh, wow. I didn't know there one of that existed.
Oh, I know Chris knows that one.
There's an inappropriate version? We're not going to go there.
You're a good one.
But anyway, there was a shirt that I had there, and it was like I don't know. It said like living the good life, and everybody ripped me whenever I wore it. Like, oh, you live in the good life, bro? So whenever you wear a shirt or says anything that has a statement like that on, I feel like you're just opening yourself up for criticism.
I think that's interesting. Even living a good life. Did out in Brookfield, did y'all call it a ribbon? Ribbon somebody?
Oh, yeah. And that was a good rib. Does it sound different when I say it?
It does. It doesn't sound like you're getting ribbed. It sounds like you're talking about ribs or food. Was that a good rib you had there? Did it have barbecue sauce on it?
Yeah. I mean, it was a tough environment. I mean, high school, it's like a school of hard knocks, man. You go through it and you learn some lessons.
I mean, talking about an NFL punter, a star athlete at the high school. You said high school was a tough life, man.
Well, I mean, no, especially at Brookfield Central. But think about that.
You're a star. You're a stud.
I still remember this shirt, this Living the Good Life shirt. I still remember wearing it and people just being merciless. Be like, oh, you live in the good life, Brad? Like, I'm like, yeah, maybe I am.
Yeah, you should be standing on a standing-on business. Brad, we talked about Goody today, about do we have trust in Brian Gutekunst. All right, so I made my prediction for the Brewers. What is your prediction for the Green Bay Packers? Do you think the Green Bay Packers can really trust Goody this offseason, that he's going to have any big free agent signings and splashes?
Well, he mentioned in his press conference this week that he is looking to sign veteran free agents. I don't expect a big free agent signing. I don't think anything that's splashy, that's going to be a real field tilter on either side of the ball. But I think he's going to be a little bit more active than usual. I think he's going to get some guys that really plug some holes, maybe in the secondary, the safety position specifically. I think they're going to look.
So you trust him? You said like you trust Goody.
I do trust him. Goody has my trust. The way he's built this team, how can I not trust him? You say Brewers World Series in the next 5 years. I say Packers in the next 5 years.
Listen, this is not only going to be title town up in Green Bay. It's going to be title town here in Milwaukee. We're going to win a championship in baseball. We're going to win a championship in basketball as well. Hey, throw in the Milwaukee Admirals and the Milwaukee Way. We are going to be title state, not title town up in Lambeau. It is title state in the state of Wisconsin. KBN is going to win a WBA. It's all champions around here. Brad, it was fun this week as Ben was out taking care of his brand new, beautiful child. I'm sure he was doing his thing as a father.
Yep, I'm sure it was a great week. Had a ton of fun with you. Ben will be back, just I'm sure eager, chomping at the bit to be back on air, and we'll welcome him back with open arms.
Thank you, KBN Nation, for tuning in all week long. We can't wait to have Ben back again. Congratulations to Ben on his new child. Homer Hour, and thank you, Brad, for this week. Homer Hour is next. Keep it locked.
We have some delays along southbound 894 from about Lincoln all the way down past Beloit Road. Also an accident on the ramp from Racine Avenue to southbound 43, the Rock Freeway. That ramp is closed right now, so be prepared for that. Eastbound 94